up, y'all? We are here for March Metal Madness.
No coronavirus yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Wait a minute, you can't say that word. It's the C virus.
Right, yeah. Or what does Angry Joe call it? The Curse of La Llorona?
I just go Resident Evil and call it the C virus.
Curse of La Llorona.
Oh my god. I bought the movie, didn't watch it, took it back, got my money back.
La Llorona.
So anyway, we're here. It's March Metal Madness. I got sick 2 weeks ago, and then last week we had a big old party. So,
my bachelor party.
My sinuses are fucked right now.
Yeah, we couldn't fuck on March Metal Madness as early as we wanted to, but, you know, life happens.
April.
I'm fine with that.
We're finally here with, we've teased it for a while now, the Deftones Retrospective. And so, like we normally do, we talk about how we got into Deftones. Now, if you guys have been watching this channel for a couple years now, you'll notice that the first time I really checked out Deftones was when Gore came out, and David here brought over Gore, and we listened to it, and I was like, oh man, this album is great. I was like, why haven't I checked these guys out? I always wrote them off, you know, because I wasn't really into that kind of stuff when I was growing up.
Touched me.
I didn't mean to.
You're infected now.
Last year,
Don't touch me.
I kept saying, oh man, I liked Gore so much, I need to check out their other stuff. Well, last year I was kind of in that, who do I want to burn myself out on next? And one morning before I went to work, I was like, let me see some Deftones. I'll get White Pony, that's the one everybody talks about, it's the one everybody knows. It had auto rip, so I ripped it before I went to work, I listened to it, and I was like, wow, this is a great fucking album. So I was like, fuck it. I started, you know, ordering all their shit, got them all, and I dig the fuck out of them. I really dig some Deftones, but I am very late to the party.
Very late.
So how did, since David's mostly going to be the leader here, because David...
Shit, you still ain't got no damn cold chamber yet.
Okay, David's gonna have a lot to say. Go to Josh.
Josh ain't got much to say either.
How did Josh get into it?
Yeah, well, how did you get into it?
Because I know he's gonna have a longer...
So you're gonna have to excuse me because I am currently fucked up on opiates because of my sinus problem.
He's got some serious sinus shit going on.
Yeah. See, I love around
He's
the
got
fur.
this Rona, but...
My Sharona?
I
I partied too hard last Saturday. My body's like, nope.
So you got into Deftones by...
I honestly couldn't possibly remember how. I remember first time listening to Deftones.
He's old. It takes a long time.
We're old. Our brains
I know. What are you talking about?
You started at 7, you jackwagons.
You're the youngest one here. You should be like, I'm young as fuck, man.
I remember when the first time I listened.
I'll be
I remember
37
the
in 3
exact
years.
first time I listened to Deftones fully.
You almost said Zeppelin.
I've had beers, so we're good. Beers.
No, I don't know, honestly.
All right.
Sure.
So you don't know when you got into it. What got you into it, though? Do you know that? I mean, do you know...
Josh was into that scene anyway.
He grew up
so
into it. He was
you
a lot
know,
older than us.
It probably just hit you. You were there.
I'm only
at the right
37. I'm
moment.
not a lot older.
You were
Yeah,
in
he's
the
only
moment.
like 3 years older
He's
than
only
us.
3
Yeah.
years older than us. I mean,
You're the baby.
We're
You're
the
like-
same.
I'm a baby.
You just turned 32, right?
You're what?
Yeah.
A year younger than. Whoa! You just turned 30. Oh, you're about to be 33.
This year,
birthday?
I literally just turned 32.
Yeah, I was about to say, his
Like,
birthday's
that's like
like
five. That's
year,
like
isn't it?
8.
I hit-
What's your birthday?
December 16th.
I just
Right,
hit.
his birthday's the end of the year.
Yeah,
I know
it's
this.
the
I'm not
end of
even
the
his
year.
brother. I
Come
knew his
on.
birthday was the end of
I
the year.
hit 34.
It's
and
the whole
30
year
feels
before
like
I'm 33.
ages ago.
Look, these two literally
40
he
feels
was there when he was born, and I was
40
like, yeah,
feels
it's like
closer to
December.
you now.
At 34
I got
years
you. I
old,
remember around
40
the time
feels
you
closer
Thank you, bro.
than
Same
30.
Yeah, I guess it would be like, probably, I know it was when Around the Fur just came out not too long ago, so it was probably
1998.
97, 98 when I first heard him.
Rad.
Because I love my...
I
You
used
know
to say 98 was when I heard of Korn and Rob Zombie,
Right.
but I remember
Yeah, it's 'cause
White
the new metal
Zombie,
thing
so
was
that was
going
like
on.
the big, oh no, he's coming out with a new album.
How
Wait,
I
why is he
remember-
calling it something different?
I swear
It
I
was
probably
white
first
before.
heard
I didn't
heard
know.
it in
I was a
movie
kid.
some point or a TV show, but yeah, it was Around the Fur.
I was 11.
Was the first
That-
album.
I love that album.
It's one is because it's like Around the Fur. You got a chick on the cover like fur.
I love that album cover. Not gonna lie, it's my favorite Deftones album cover, And I bet y'all can't guess why.
Oh, I wonder why.
But so, all right, Zach, what about you? How did you check out Deftones?
I didn't do my homework.
We knew it.
God damn.
I don't want
Yes.
to touch you. You're sick.
Weenus.
Yeah.
So did you
Not the
listen to
Wheaties.
any of them?
I listened to Adrenaline. Was that the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the first one.
1996.
I listened to that one and the one after that.
Run the
Around the
Furnace.
It's got
first,
Shove It.
98.
Is that the one with Shove It?
Yeah.
Shove It.
My
Shove It?
my summer.
I
Now
listened
they
to that.
have now Deftones take a 3 to 4 year gap.
I
between every
listened
album.
to those two at work, and
Except for
then
them early days, though.
No, the early days, 96, then 99,
98.
or 98, no, so
Rutherford came out
95,
in
98.
97.
And then 2003 was when
97,
White
yeah.
Pony came out. It was 2003. And then 4 years
Bullshit.
after that, 3 to 4 years.
Bullshit.
I mean,
White
damn, y'all
fucking
just
pony.
took over.
2000,
what-
2002 is when White
I
Pony
was
came
trying
out.
to speak. Y'all
White
just took
fucking
over.
pony.
Adrenaline came out in
2000.
95. White Pony came out in 2007. Around the first
White Pony did
97.
not come out in 2007. That's wrong.
Damn,
Well,
you're
no,
the,
'cause
you're
that
the
was
worst
the White Pony in high
Deftones
school
fan
when I was
ever.
Don't get us killed in the comments.
Is that-
I'm pulling up the Discogs.
Travis is
Somebody
pulling the
fucking
plug.
I'm pulling up the Discogs.
Because Discog says 2000
Does it not
for White
say
Pony.
on here?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay. So 2000 White Pony, 97 was around the first,
Around the
95 was okay. So
Adrenaline.
Travis
the
doesn't want
first
to
three
get
was 2 to
bombarded
5,
in
2 to 4
comments.
years.
Yeah, it was Adrenaline. Then 2 years later was around
95,
the first.
97,
And then 3 years
2000.
later was White
But
Pony.
everything after
I
that was
thought
like
you-
3 to 4 years. Though.
Yeah, they from the self-titled through Saturday Night Wrist, Diamond Eyes, Koi no
This is year 2000, right?
Yeah,
That's
that's
what I thought.
Exactly.
Well,
Something like that.
I
Anyway,
just don't want
anyway.
David to get us called the worst Deftone band.
So-
Well, he might have just had a
they,
wrong
well,
comment.
93.
Yeah, just a
response.
brand.
It says
Sorry.
93. They had.
Yeah.
making
era.
jokes.
They had
Yeah.
their
Things
first.
happen.
I guess
Beers
so.
later.
Linus came out. in
Beers
93.
later.
So the way I
Maybe
listen to
it's rough.
Deftones.
Beers later.
All right. Here's the thing. I had like 3 days to prepare.
It's your own fault.
It's
I've
my
done
own
this for like
fault.
6
Well, all
months.
right. You guys already knew this is what we were doing. I forgot because Travis texted me, "I'm sick. We can't film tonight." And this was on a Friday, and I'm like, I didn't know we were doing that.
Yeah, this was 2 weeks ago. And what's
Yeah.
funny is I told you a week before.
Yeah,
that
I
we
know
were
you
doing
did.
it.
I know you did. But this was my process. I'm getting fucking married, dude.
Yeah, you got too
I'm
much shit going on.
There's so much in my brain, so I forget about this shit. And then Friday, you text me, I can't film. We can't do the Deftones tonight because I'm sick. And I'm like, dude, I totally forgot we were doing that.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm
well,
not
I'll
even
think
prepared. And then,
Yeah, you've had 2 weeks to prepare. You just
then
gotta
no,
prepare.
well, okay. Last week was my goddamn bachelor party, and I had to convince my mom not to come. So that's
He
like
didn't go
really
through shit.
throughout
That
the
had
entire week. I
Monday
am fucking
through
stressed.
Saturday.
From Monday to
Good.
Saturday, I'm stressed
So
as
we
shit.
can't be mad at you. At
Trying
all.
to
Well, I mean,
figure out.
He's not a
Okay.
Deftones fan, so he's never listened to it.
I gotta
before.
do
It's
this. I gotta do this, and I gotta do this, and I totally forgot.
I'm
and
glad
I
you listened to what
There's
you
a ton
did.
of
I
We've
texted
all
you
never listened to.
Thursday, and I said, "Are we filming anything Saturday?" And you're like, "Yeah, we're doing Deftones retro." And I'm like, "Fuck, that's right."
You had 3
God damn it.
days.
I need
I've been
this-
listening to
I
this
need
band
this-
all week. 3
You
days.
guys been listening to this band for a while, and I'm like, I need this in writing. Let me signature it or something. Like, let me know.
You should have gotten
Something
your car and just started it up.
It's on my computer, and I had it on my phone. I remember when you texted me that's Thursday. I was like, all right, let me plug my phone into the computer. And
It's okay.
I got
Y'all
3
just got
days,
these
2
two
days to listen to this.
Plug phone. It's Amazon Prime, dude. Just
No.
download.
No, I'm not
Well, no,
buying
because
it.
I'm giving him the
Yeah,
files.
Yeah.
he's got the shit. I'm gonna put it on my phone.
He's got the new shit.
So I'm listening to. I put it on my phone, and I'm like, all right, I got 2 days before Saturday. It's Thursday night. Oh shit, it's 9:30.
9 albums.
God damn it, it's 9:30. How much is on here? I'm not putting B-sides on here, no. I'm like, okay.
Skip that,
And
that's
then I watch them all go, like they're being put on my phone. It goes, this is the bar. Doop. Like it's already there. And I'm like, fuck, it was already on my phone. I already did this. I'm like, God damn it.
All right.
Okay, so I get up Friday because it's Thursday when I find out about this. I have 9 albums to listen to on Friday, and
You just skipped a few. Like, just go through the songs.
so
30
I get
seconds
into work and I listen to Adrenaline, and I'm like, all right, okay. This is just my response to it, just jam into it. Oh, okay, cool. Dogs acting up on the table, I'm not paying attention to it. Dogs all around me barking, I'm not paying attention to it. One of the moments, like, alright, man, it's background music, but it's not good background music. I'm trying to work here. It just didn't flow with me.
Oh, because you're working. And
Yeah,
it's
I'm
just
working.
heavy
This is
metal.
my fault. This is my fault because there's a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
So it's just totally not the best way of ever listening to this group. I'm sorry. I didn't do my homework and I'm coming in late.
That's no problem.
So I failed and I'm admitting to it.
no problem. Well,
But I enjoy being here.
yeah, you're going to
I
get some
enjoy-
good
it's okay.
recommendations.
I got your bet. Rocksmith, Round the Fur. You've played.
Yeah.
There
Hell
you go.
yeah.
Rocksmith, you've played.
I
Fucking
downloaded Shove It.
Shove It.
Or My Summer, whatever
My
it's
Summer.
called. Yeah, I downloaded that.
So, David, how did you check out Deftones?
Now, I didn't hear Deftones until 2004. So I got a whole story for you. I was high as fuck. Me and my buddy John were sitting in my
He was
Kia.
gonna do his thing before we did. No, Josh was.
Josh was, but
'Cause
Josh,
I thought he had a lot to
Josh
say.
was a lame story. So,
Josh didn't have a story.
2004, me and my buddy John smoked a blunt. We were high as
Everything
shit.
ain't got to be a story.
That's right.
Nah.
That's right, we were high as shit. My buddy Johnny looks at me and he goes, dude, have you heard Deftones? I said, I've heard of Deftones. Now, I've heard of Deftones, meaning I've
Now,
heard...
hold on 2 seconds. I do got to say
What
now,
am I sitting there?
I do got to say, the first time I heard Deftones was when White Pony came out, because the high school song was on MTV a lot, and House in the Change in the House of Flies was everywhere, and I got
Evil.
so sick of that song because Mom was watching every MTV reality show at that
Oh,
point,
God.
and anytime there was a drama scene that I watched you change fucking played, and then I was like, I am fucking over this song, and then
Queen of the Day.
years later.
That video was.
Josh
stupid
burns
back
me a
in the
copy
day.
of the Queen of the Damned soundtrack, and I'm
Yes.
loving it. And then
then
all of a
that song
sudden,
comes on.
all of a sudden, I watched you change. I was like, oh, this is how I escaped this. And
Well, it
but
did better in that movie.
years
That's a better
later,
fitting-
years and years
Hearing it
later,
in context and
I
everything around
actually,
it.
with the album, I actually really dig the song now. You know, when I was 13, 14 years old,
It got old.
hating it. But
I forgot to
34,
add this
I'm
to
down.
what I was saying. Sorry, my thing is going on way too long. I forgot to add this though. While you were talking about your shit. Okay, while you were talking about your shit,
We're too
it
drunk.
reminded me
We're too busted.
of why I didn't go. Like every time I had a chance, I didn't pick up the fucking Deftones. It's because I was in a Meatloaf rabbit hole.
Yeah, you were telling me you got fucking Meatloaf is my
Like
jam.
I already know
my jam.
Meatloaf, and I already
That's
listened
my
to his
jam.
album several times, several hundred times.
It's my Apple
growing
jam.
up, but just randomly, it's been like, all right, it's been the first time in probably 10 years that I've picked up Bad Out of Hell again.
It's such a good.
I own this shit. I own this album for like 15 years, maybe. Yeah, and Bad Out of Hell 2, maybe 10 years. So I finally put it in again, and I'm like, I can't go to anything else right now. This is my jam. Like the whole fucking album. And
Whole album.
I was telling you, we
All
need
7 tracks.
all 7. No matter how long they are, it's still an hour.
Man.
But like, I remember telling you, we gotta have this in March Metal Madness. You didn't really have much to say about it. And I'm like, I know it's not a metal album, but it's what I'm feeling right now. And that was my way of saying, I'm not gonna listen to Deftones. And this was Thursday when I was supposed to listen to Deftones. And I'm like,
I
no,
can't blame you.
I'm on a fucking...
That's a totally different mentality to me.
It is.
He's like, Travis is like, yeah, we're going to be doing the Deftones.
And I'm
like,
sitting like, no.
I'm on it. I listen to Deftones
I'm
all
like-
week long. I'm like, Monday through Thursday at least. I
At
give
least.
Friday a break.
The
I was
funny
like, I
thing
couldn't do
is,
no more.
I was listening to Deftones on my way to work.
I went through the whole
during
discography.
lunch,
Right. I
on
went
my
through the
way
entire
home.
discography the last week and a half. I'm like,
played
the
some today.
I went through their covers album. I went through their live album. I was like, all right, I don't know what he's gonna go over.
I
So
didn't
I was
know
like,
you
fuck, I'm gonna listen to everything.
The funny thing to me is,
I have heard every
You're sitting
Deftones
here
song
telling me
in
this,
the
and I'm
past
like,
4 weeks. I'm like,
deep. I'm deep into fucking Meatloaf right
I'm
now.
like, yeah, we're doing a Deftones retro, so listen to the 8 Deftones albums. And Zach's like,
fuck.
that in the hell.
Yep. I'm like,
So
bat out of
anyway,
hell. Like I'm out of hell.
me and my buddy John, this is 2004. Me and my buddy John smoked a blunt. We get in my Kia in front of my mom's house, and he's like, dude, you ever heard of Deftones? I was like, yeah, I've heard of them, but I haven't really listened to them. But I think, like you said, House of the fucking Flies or whatever, that's the only fucking song I really heard by them. I mean, I heard what is it?
My summer.
My
Show.
Summer.
Last summer,
Shut
I
It.
heard that one. I heard their popular songs. They were on the radio, but I never really knew who they were because I never really back in like 2004.
That's
I was
You were
8
new to this shit.
I was new to it. I was like, all right, cool. But my buddy's like, look, dude, you want to fucking mind blowing? You need to listen to this. And I'm like I said, I'm high as fuck. So I'm like, yeah. And this time my Kia, like I had 2 12s in the fucking back, so the bass is top joint, like top of the fucking.
Spoiled kids, man.
Right, no.
We didn't grow up
I
with this.
saved for
We
that
don't
shit.
even know how this
Rich
is.
ass spoiled kid, Joe.
Rich
We're
ass
just
spoiled
poor, aren't we,
kid.
David?
Yeah, that's right. You poor motherfuckers. I saved my fucking allowance for this shit. I went to Subway and that shit was saved up. I paid for that shit. Actually, that's not true. I
No
got
one's
that
gonna
shit
get
for free.
that reference, but
My
it's
sister had some friends that were like, hey, I got these 12s in the back. You want them? I was like, fuck yeah, I'm a fucking 17-year-old. I'll like put that shit in the back and hook it up. So anyway, I'm listening to shit. I turned that shit up to 12 because 12 was the max amount that I could actually stand. Right? And I'm fucking just in it. I'm just fucking the White Pony from
I
start
can imagine
to
Deftones
finish.
being a good high band.
Like just that album. The other albums are really grungy and like they're heavy, but like White Pony was like this fucking drift all the way through.
Just
Like,
drone.
just droned
Yeah,
out.
the
So I'm sitting there.
Shoegaze, just.
a
I'm
good
sitting
high
there
band is a different statement nowadays when you're in your 30s.
Yeah. So yeah, I know, right?
It's
But
a different
I'm 18
statement. Back
years
I'm more
old.
about whenever it came to like good high bands, chill.
Yeah,
Chill.
yeah,
So
but you never have that feeling
I'm
of being a
18
high
years
band
old.
anymore.
I'm sitting in my car with my buddy John. And my buddy John's a big dude, by the way, so he takes a lot of space. I'm sitting there, I'm staring at my fucking steering wheel, and I'm just fucking in it. Like every song, one to the next song to the next. I hear Passenger, and I'm fucking done. son.
Passenger is so rad.
Passenger Stone though
Shit,
was
that's
a
me
trip.
like a-
Like I'm talking about
Passes.
a trip. Wonder Boy
Something.
from fucking Tenacious D. Wonder Boy all the way through the entire fucking Passenger.
We need to do a better Tenacious D retrospective.
I mean,
Oh
that
my God.
fucking,
We can
that
do it tonight.
fucking album, White Pony, was where I started
It's gonna
at
be fast.
Deftones, right? And I was like, fuck, this band is amazing. Again, though, that's the only album I heard, though, for the longest time. Like, I didn't dive in because, you know, MP3s back in 2004 wasn't really that huge yet. You know, you're still downloading from LimeWire and shit. What? LimeWire? Or what's that?
Frostwire?
Frostwire.
Kazaa?
Napster,
The
Kazaa.
Bear. What's the one with the bear?
Napster,
The Bear, Lime Bear, or some shit like that.
Lime Bear,
So-
Frost Bear,
Frost Bear.
Big Bear,
Whatever. So,
Nat Bear.
so I didn't dive really far into Deftones until about maybe 5 or 6 years ago, where then I was like, I
So
was
you're
like,
later in the game than I actually thought.
yeah, and I didn't really like I said, I heard White Pony
I'm the latest in the
And
game
I
because I didn't
heard-
do my
I heard-
homework.
Around the Fur a little bit. I actually heard Diamond Eyes way
That one is-
before.
Man, can we
Diamond Eyes was probably the
I
next
remember when that
album.
one came out.
2009. Diamond
we
Eyes
haven't
came
even
out. I was
talked
in
about the
Iraq.
albums yet.
We have not talked about it because David won't shut up.
Oh my god.
I was in
I
Iraq.
have nothing to really say about the albums because, you know,
So
I didn't do
Diamond
my
Eyes came
homework.
out, and like that's when I really dove into
y'all
it. was when
flowed through
Diamond Eyes
this
did
real
it.
fast.
When Diamond Eyes came out, that's really dove into Deftones. Like that's like
I'm gonna
2009.
pee and have a cigarette.
That's when
Cool.
I really
Man,
dove into
already
it.
taking a cigarette break.
Oh, really?
Pussy. But
I got nothing else to say.
I'm just over here playing some music.
I mean,
So-
y'all are jamming.
so
Do-do-do.
yeah,
Playing
that's
some
when
Nirvana.
I'll be there.
2004 was the start.
Continue.
But I didn't really dive until 2009.
Gas hit 2009.
Yeah. And that's
Makes
when I
sense.
went back and heard everything. And, in this last 2 weeks, I really just gave it a listen. The entire discography. And that's right. Come back, baby cakes.
Nope.
All right,
I'm
pussy.
getting the phone.
So, this last 2 weeks has really just said, all right, I'm going to focus on everything. And our opinions are going to start with Adrenaline.
I went heavy deep last year. I was buying a couple every week, and then I stopped. And I got Diamond Eyes when I started buying Charlie's collection up, and then I stopped. And then what was it? Back in like November, we brought up the Deftones retro again. And I was like, you know what? I still got to get Koyo. Whatever, and I ordered it, and I was like, oh man, yeah, this is great. So then it, boom, sparked it again, listened to him heavily again in November, and then the week I got sick, I listened to him heavily, and then this week I turned him back on. Mostly in passing this week, because I'm like, yeah, I listened to it all the week
Right.
before, and, but yeah, Adrenaline, their very first album, full-length album,
It's the one with the fucking douche on it.
1990.
Ear thing.
It's a douche.
Yeah, it's that little baby sort of, because I had one when I was a kid too. It was like they take
It's a
snot out
nose
of
fucking
baby's
sucker.
nose.
It's a nose
Yeah.
sucker.
nose
That's what I
cleaner,
call
cleaner,
it.
yeah.
My kids. It's a fucking douche. Who cares? It's what. That's
You
what
fill it up with some Coca-Cola, kill them sperm babies.
No
Kill them
sucker.
sperm babies.
The original douche. That's what it says.
And all right, Josh, do you have any opinions on Adrenaline?
Well, the first time I heard it, I was wondering if it's a female singer. You ever hear it? I don't know. Through my fucking speakers, I was listening while playing my game. I was like, why does it sound like a chick singing the whole damn time?
So you had poor people suit speakers. He had no bass.
No, he has a very
He does not have a feminine voice.
feminine voice in it.
No, he doesn't. He has a light tone voice, but it's very tenor. It's a smooth kind of like higher pitched voice, but it's nowhere
it's
near
a
a female. It's
high-pitched
nowhere
voice.
near.
It's not a masculine voice. I'll
He
tell you
doesn't-
But
that
it's not a
much.
feminine voice. It's mine. It's like me singing. Like if I had to actually get tone to my voice, it's just like that's all it is. It's not higher. It's not like this high pitched female style.
Like even when he does his more aggressive singing, he's not. It's not like a macho
Raspy.
aggressive. Like it's heavy, but not a macho. Like ah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty heavy. That's a pretty heavy
Man,
album.
that is a heavy album.
It is
That's a fucking. That is the
their heaviest-
grungiest fucking album though.
I mean, it's
It's-
good. I
It's
like
so good. Like like
It hits on all of the early new metal sounds before new metal was a thing
right.
that I love. Like there's that early sort of Korn sound to it. There's this early, just that early like new sound of an alt metal genre. And I'm sorry, people, if you're hearing this noise. I'm telling you right now, that's our air just turned on. Normally, I turn it off when this happens, but
We live in the South.
we live in the fucking South. It's snowing yesterday in Portland. In the South, we're hitting 70 degrees.
80.
No coronavirus for
Yeah.
us. It's too damn warm.
Right. But yeah, this album,
It's very heavy. It's
musically,
very new metal-y because
yeah,
it's extremely hard.
those early
Very-
connections to what the
Alternative metal.
building blocks of new metal was going to be.
Yeah, it has a lot of like grunge influence. Like you can
Yeah,
tell, like
it's got this
they're
post
It
grunge.
really was. I mean, I love like Engine Number 9. Was
Engine
fucking-
number 9 is so good.
Such a good fucking song, and
Bored and minus blindfold. I mean, every track
I have
on here.
the
Feral,
last like I said, the last couple weeks I've been listening to it, and I have a lot larger respect for this album than I did when 10 years
For a
ago.
first album, it sounds fantastic.
It is, and it was probably one of my favorites. Not my favorite album, but it's
up there.
Up there because it's just so like it's so raw.
Yes.
It has such a raw sound to it. It doesn't have overproduced or anything. It sounds like you're in the studio. You can tell it's their first album.
You can
but
tell,
it's so
but it
good.
doesn't sound amateur.
Right.
Like they were really, they knew what they were doing when they came into this.
Exactly, but you could definitely tell it was like, hey, this is the production that we're gonna do.
This is what we want.
Right, and I don't
they
think
got what they wanted.
I don't think the Deftones like Chino and all them.
There was a certain producer that they worked with on the first several albums that they quit working with, who is actually, I believe, producing the new album.
It's the same producer that did White Pony. It's the one of the new album.
Like this guy
It's not the
worked
same
on
guy who did the first two though.
Yeah, it's the same. I swear it's the same guy.
I don't think so.
I swear to you, it's like the same guy produced their fucking album.
Like I know it's the guy who did White Pony, but I don't think it's the
produced
first one.
by Terry Date. Go to White Pony. Because I think Terry Date is producing it again. Yeah, Terry Date produced White Pony. He produced their first several albums, and then they dropped him,
Hey,
started
baby.
going with somebody else.
Hey, baby. Sexy. Give me that.
Yeah, grab any beer you want, man. There's
PBR up, baby.
sours, there's PBRs,
What's this?
Turpin,
No,
our
I
go-to.
ain't
Anything
No,
non-IPA.
I'm gonna say I want to
I'll
know.
take a PBR Tuesday.
I mean, I know this.
What's
but
not
like,
IPA and not
PBR.
PBR?
Well, there's one Yingling left, and that's not PBR. Everything else is
I'll take the
PBR and
Yuengling.
IPA.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Well, there's a sour. Do you want a sour?
What's the sound?
no.
It is,
See, here's the thing.
It tastes more like I call
No.
those the Mountain Dew of beer. Sours are the Mountain Dew of beer.
I mean, wait, is this the one that I told Josh to get
Sour
you?
Monkey.
Wait, don't touch it. Don't open that yet. You might like this. Where's it?
It's on it's on the door, top.
I mean, as long as it's not a flower, I'll be fine.
No, you're good. You'll dig this.
Okay, you got
yourself.
2
Let
sours.
me try one.
Actually,
Sour Monkey. Is,
I'll keep this one.
if you don't,
I am not a sour guy because I like
we will
higher
pass
alcohol
that.
content.
No, we shouldn't pass it because of germs.
They never sip besides
But
that.
I call that stuff like the Mountain Dew of beer.
Man. He's like, huh?
It's gonna be a more flavorful soda, as opposed to a beer flavor.
Take a swig. Big one.
Look at the alcohol content.
Yeah.
It's 7.
That's like the highest sour I've ever seen.
I remember
This is the high. This is
Zach
high.
told me to get Travis that. And I was like, yes, we're going to get Travis fucked up.
Interesting. It's not
good.
bad.
Yeah, but it's like you don't
You
want to
wanna-
drink all of it because you know.
You want to say it's girly, but it's not girly.
Nah, man, that's gonna.
It's like almost like pickle juice kind of thing. But
But if you chug that, is what I'm saying. Like
I
one of
chug your
these,
shit, man.
if you
Hey,
chug
hey,
it,
hey, hey. Yeah, no,
Shit. that'll put you on the floor worse than touchy feely guy last week.
I'll take it.
It's good.
I mean, you
But
better drink this
it's a sippy beer.
It is definitely a sippy beer.
It is.
It's
definitely
not one of those you
beer.
want to chug.
It's like a
dude,
lemony lime.
my
it's a
God.
limey.
9%.
Alright, what are you saying?
That is how much I hate that movie. It's still sitting down there.
What
Same.
mo-
Oh, the Beatles?
Ghostbusters
Yeah, I
Oh
mean,
2016.
God, you just saw
You gave
that.
me
No,
that
it's in
2
there.
years ago for me and my buddy to
I
do
was
that
gonna fly, fuck, it's
retrospective.
still
And I'm like, damn, Josh bought that?
No,
Why?
Starlight wanted to see it. It had been out for a while, so we just got it. It was on sale at Best Buy for like
Ugh.
$5.
I mean, it's
Gross.
if you want to talk shit about it, it's
gotta
best to
do
see
it.
it.
I would rather watch what they got on Netflix right now. The movies that made us.
I did watch that. That was fun.
Yeah.
Cheers,
I, like
gentlemen.
I watched the what is it?
The Home Alone one was good.
That's what I watched today. I watched the Home Alone one today.
Alright, so
And I watched the toys that made us.
back
You
to
ever
the
watch
music.
that?
I haven't watched
Well,
it yet.
I'm not trying to
Yeah.
be here till 4 or 5 in the morning, so.
But
Yeah, finish that.
Adrenaline.
Locked out anyways, who cares?
Yeah, I know, right?
Adrenaline.
We're still on adrenaline.
Might
This
be
is
sleeping at his
a
house.
this is a heavy ass album. Really good. I really like the shit out of that. And like you said, there's rawness to
There's
it.
such a rawness. Like it's not overproduced at all. Nowhere near overproduced. It's just,
It is very
it's
raw.
Like, it's
for
like,
the time.
hey,
Was it
step up to the
94?
microphone. We'll turn
Fine.
down this
Yeah.
part, turn this knob a little bit, and then we're done. That's it. It's like a couple little here.
Like,
make sure your voice sounds
There's
alright.
not a lot going
that
on.
is
It's
cool.
just a good fucking metal.
That is a good
record.
fridge. Oh my
It's
god.
not even
these
metal though. It's like I
rusty
say, it's
beers.
really grungy.
Yeah, very grungy, just post grunge, alt metal, just.
It's like we're leaning into metal, but
Yeah,
we're still in the grunge era.
It's like the first Korn album where it's like a pioneering version.
But you're still
of,
trying to figure it out.
Yeah, of what was
Exactly.
about to be happening.
right. Because everything further from here, once you step after the adrenaline, it doesn't.
Because
It's funny.
with this,
It's funny that y'all mentioned that because while I was listening to this album and the one after it,
around the first.
On the bird.
I fucking felt this moment of I've heard this before from
Yes, you have.
other
From the
bands
radios.
that are
other
newer.
bands.
Like all this. That kind of singing. Sorry.
Now.
This is what I'm getting. So every time I'm hearing that, I'm like, that's what sounds like the new shit.
like the origin.
Yeah, like this is
The
what
album
they're paying tribute to.
is
but, like,
25
I didn't
years
know that
old.
because
It
I never
holds
heard
up.
any of this shit.
You're right. This is a 25-year-old album.
It holds up.
It still sounds great today.
Yeah.
But like
I will say I did like that one.
yeah, like
That's the one I listened to all the way through.
So like I say, it's their
I
hardest,
started at the beginning,
grungiest album.
but I didn't finish.
They
I
get
mean,
softer going
I
on.
had a day.
I wouldn't say it's their hardest, but I would say it is grungy. I like to say it's the grungiest album because it's in that time frame.
yeah, because
like-
this is like when you come to
Mid-90s.
the first Korn album and definitely this album, there was nothing else in radio rock that sounded like this or the first Korn album.
Well, nothing on there actually hit the radio.
And that's what I'm saying is like this right here is touching on that new moment. Like
New
Korn,
metal.
Korn hit the radio with
You can't do
they were
that
on
these
Beavis-
days, though.
Blind was on Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
That was a rite of passage in '94.
Beavis and Butthead was a rite of passage, period.
Yeah.
If you
and
were on their show,
that
Somebody-
first
there's a
Korn
reason.
album, you put yourself in the world of '94. That first Korn album
Man.
sounded nothing like it was heavier.
any metal
than
that was
anything,
around at that
yeah.
time. Well, I mean, like
That album
there
was
there
heavier.
is metal albums like from Cannibal Corpse or whatever. that
Yeah.
probably
On
came
the
around.
radio,
but
on
yeah,
MTV.
radio metal is what we're talking about.
That was
like,
some of the
Pantera
nothing was
did do
that
shit
heavy.
like that. Fucking Slayer and Metallica.
And that shit was heavy, but it wasn't this new. heavy.
It was new metal.
Exactly. That's why they called it. It was this
Yeah.
new version of metal. But yeah, great fucking album.
Huh?
Sorry, I just said that. How you can tame up Flair?
Anyway, great fucking album, y'all.
Yeah, that was the only one I heard all the way through.
We come on next
Because you're lame.
with
Around the
Quit
fur.
shaming Zach.
1990.
I heard a bunch of this because of Rocksmith.
Yeah.
when I-
1997's.
When I started playing the game, yeah, I played through the radio songs because they're all on Rocksmith.
Around the
And I
Fur.
didn't.
And
I kind of
like
forgot
I
about
said,
it.
this is for our visual podcast buddies who watch us on YouTube.
Oh,
If
it's
you're
your favorite album cover?
if you're listening to this on Horrorphilia,
Oh,
if you're a
I don't
fan,
about
you know.
this.
But there's a reason why this is my favorite Deftones album cover, and you know it's obvious to see.
Well, the
I
whole
wanna
body's
know.
on the front and the
Do
back.
you see tits?
Just about. I mean,
Top-down
Cleavage,
Top
and
boob.
What do you
the
mean,
back
just
of
down?
Why don't you look it up? She has a name, you know.
yeah,
There's tits.
she was a random chick, and they had to hunt her down to get her
did.
approval.
They
for
The
did.
this,
back of the album, though, is the rest of her body.
She
Did
looks
not
like
notice that?
Yeah,
she looks like Dewey from the.
right there.
Look,
Put her on. Boop.
Oh,
It's a weird camera angle.
it is.
Travis is fucking
Okay,
weird.
so
I am.
where's her boobs?
Well, I mean, you're not gonna see
Not
no
real
full-on
boobs.
Are you serious?
It's baby.
You hyped it up and you don't
It's
see both.
1990s boobs. I mean, come on.
You get top boobs.
It's no
You don't-
doubt boobs.
It's like side boob. but top boob.
There's no doubt. I mean, come on.
Everybody talks about side boob. This is top boob.
I can grab boobs whenever I want.
You get a little bit of cleave and a little bit of beeve.
So this is where they started hitting the radio more.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm
this
sorry.
Is My Own
That's
Summer
not
comes
impressive
out.
to me. That's
you
just
hear,
a shot
you
of
hear
a woman with a...
You hear that riff, My Own Summer, that's in every
Does your
fucking
dingy
90s
tingle on
movie.
that?
My dingy tingles.
You get a dingy tingle. You get a dingy
Have you
tingle.
looked at
on
what she
that.
looks like now?
I don't want to, probably.
Be Quiet and Drive was another fucking amazing
Great.
song on there.
Great song.
Uh,
This album does everything the first album did, but with more money.
Better production.
Better production, exactly.
Yeah,
I will
was a
say
better
when I put
produced
this-
version of first album.
I listened to half of this album, but I was washing dishes.
But because you already knew half the songs on the album because they were
Yeah,
already
yeah.
they're in movies, they're on the radio.
Yeah, that's probably the truth.
I mean, a lot of those songs were
Look at that top
popularized.
And
Just
a way,
look at
like,
that top
see,
boob.
this is
They're MTV all
I cannot
throughout.
get over that
All
top
right.
boob.
to me, top boob. Which one?
Both.
There's two.
They're tiny.
Yeah.
Top boob, y'all.
Top B's.
Side boob is out. Top
I mean,
boob.
yeah, you get the top boob, but they're not. She needs to
This is
squish
so
them together
weird.
and make them look sexy.
I don't know what to think of this.
All right. So anyway,
This is sad.
It's like a sour
This-
airhead, but with alcohol.
There you go.
yeah, it'll fuck you up though.
This is
It
weird. I
will
don't know what to
waste
think
you.
about
It's
it.
an adult sourhead.
Here you go.
But this, all right, it was easier to listen to, but I didn't get much time with it because I was washing dishes and then I was also cooking
But you already
at
heard
the
it
same
all.
time. I listened to most of it before
Half the album's on
while playing
is
Rocksmith,
popularized.
and then there was like maybe 2-3 songs I didn't know, but then there's still another half of the album I didn't hear.
Yeah.
So I will say I enjoyed this more than Adrenaline
Makes sense.
because I knew it.
And you're a Green Day fan.
I'm a big Green Day fan, but I hate the new album.
Yeah, everyone does.
I know they do, and I hate that I'm on the bandwagon. I hate that I'm on the bandwagon.
I'm like the only one in this room that liked
I mean-
the new Green Day
I
album.
almost tagged you in the new
You like the new Green Day album because you haven't heard any
We
Green
like
Day
the
album.
full
Did I
Green Day
share the
album.
new Stevie T video?
I haven't
How
watched
did-
that new
how
one.
I did.
Green
I
Day.
did. The new.
That shit was hilarious.
God.
I was like, oh my
They did
god, Zach
great.
would hate him right now.
No, I didn't. I loved it. I love any parody
It made
of Green
sense.
Day. I love it.
Because
When
he
he's like,
gets it.
you need to do your lyrics like meow, meow. I love that shit. Like, I love how
He had the mask on and everything.
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah,
like,
they had the
cracking
mask
up.
on,
Like,
but
this is how Green
he's
Day
like,
should sound.
I'm sorry, I can't sing like Billy Joe, but I got a guy that can, and they did a good Green Day song. But there's also that other band, Panicland, is doing a good Green Day cover album.
Yeah.
Not cover, but
Style.
I would say it's a fan fiction album.
Yeah. Like they called it.
Yeah, they
D
called
standard.
it a fan fiction album.
D
So,
standard, not drop D standard.
so
So, Dad Gab.
It's E standard, just dropped one step all the way down on all strings.
to D. No.
But this album,
To D.
like Zach was saying, I love. This is my favorite Deftones album.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to listen to, it's easier to get into,
It-
and I don't know if it is that the same producer.
Yeah, same producer. Tyler.
Okay, well they just
Dates.
had more money.
Terry Dates.
Oh shit!
So it gives it a
Shit.
brighter sound. I say it gives it a brighter sound when you put it in D standard. I like it. It's a lot softer sound.
Blackbird singing in the day of night. He's doing Beatles. He's trying to do Beatles.
I can't do it on this guitar because it's like all the way up here.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
a
it's
big
a
ass
classical
neck.
guitar. That's why.
It's a fat neck.
It's a classic guitar.
But yeah, we're hitting our favorite Deftones album very early. This one, like I said, it does everything Adrenaline does, but to me it does it better. It is, I don't know, this has that, the rawness is still there, but not as heavy. But the whole album just fucking does it for me. My Own Summer.
His singing, I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
his singing
guitar.
so much better on this album.
Yeah, his singing
On
is
Electric,
really
I
good
like
on
this
here.
song.
His singing gets a little less
Oh, yeah.
aggressive on some tracks.
It's more melodic. It's
Very much more melodic.
The Beatles up.
But Ricketts, Hex,
Gotta do Beatles.
Head Up,
Love
Lotion,
it.
like, Be Quiet and Drive. Fucking awesome. This is a great fucking album. right here. That's why, for some reason, Diamond Eyes, like I said, reminds me a lot more of this album.
Now
Like,
that I went back.
yeah, it reminds me more of this style of Deftones, and
That's
that's
what's
why
weird
I
about
like
bands
Diamond
that's
Eyes so
been
much.
around since for 20, 25 years. They make songs or albums that remind you of the old days, and then you're like, shit, I've been listening to this band for almost 30 years. And then you're in our parents' seats where there's like the Rolling Stones still kicking it and still doing it. Like, goddamn, we're old as shit.
Here's a thing that I'll tell you right now that trips me out. All right?
Music makes you feel old.
Marilyn Manson's first album,
Yeah.
right now, is as old as like Tales from the Topographic Oceans was from Yes when that first Marilyn Manson album came out.
Yeah, by the definition,
Wow.
all our
Trips me
favorite
out.
bands are now classic
Yeah.
rock by that definition.
Basically.
The music we listen to, what we grew up with, is considered.
When I heard Smashing
It's
Pumpkins
considered
on the oldie
classic
station,
rock.
Right, because the age-wise.
We
That
are-
would put
yeah.
our music as classic rock.
Our music is classic rock to the Zoomers,
the Mo's and the Zoomers,
because they're the Generation Z, right?
pretty much.
Yeah, so Zoomers, that's what they're calling them.
But Around the Fur, really good fucking album.
For Travis, got a little spankage.
Yeah, you got a little.
Yeah,
spankage
I mean,
from
he
front
just
and back.
bought this album, so like 2 months ago, you spanked to that album.
This is about a year ago. I bought it. I started checking them out. I started buying
Born of
Deftones
Free.
in April last year. So I've had this one about a year almost.
You know
But dig the top boot. What about you, David? You haven't said much about Around the Fur.
You know, Around the Fur is one of those albums. There's kind of like it's so generic to me because everything is so popularized.
Yeah.
Half that album has been on the radio. It's been on a
Yeah.
movie. It's been on a TV show. It's been on MTV. Eight million
That's why
times.
it's the easiest
It's
one.
one of those
for
things
someone
that
to get
everyone
into.
connects to because when they hear Deftones, what do they hear? They hear, well, shove it. My Own Summer is the most popular fucking
That's her.
Deftones.
I rooted for Travis.
What?
That's her.
Wow.
That's her face.
Still got some top.
My
boot
Own
going
Summer is
on.
probably the most popularized
Well,
No
Deftones.
fish.
by now.
MILF.
Yeah. My Own Summer is probably
She
the most
looks
popularized
cool.
Deftones
Fuck outta
song
here,
out there,
though.
right? Everyone knows, you know, if anyone's a rock fan, like, you know, a rock fan, they're like, yeah, Deftones, that's that one with that, shove it, shove it. Everyone knows that song. Everyone knows Shove It, or My Own Summer, which is what it's, you know, My Own Summer, in quotation, Shove It.
Yeah.
You know, everyone knows that song. So it's kind of like, it's where they broke out
Yeah.
kind of album. And to
Yeah.
me, it's good. I mean, it's a fucking amazing album.
It's
But it's kind of like, move on, I want to hear the rest
Poser
of it.
song.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
what everyone
if
would
everyone
say in high
knows
school. It's
Deftones,
a Poser
everyone
song.
knows the
You
song.
only like that song because it's poppy.
You know, everyone knows My Own Summer is what I'm saying. And everyone knows,
It's like Wait and Bleed.
actual
Wouldn't you
rap
say the
for-
like
same
Wait and
thing
Bleed from
for
Slipknot.
a lot of the White Pony stuff, though? Because, I mean,
No.
to me, more people know Changing the House of Flies.
the only song on there that people know, because everyone else doesn't know the rest of the album, because the only thing, but like if you listen, Around the Fur itself was pretty popularized. Be Quiet and Drive was on a couple movies back in the 90s and early 2000s, like all those like
I don't know.
all those.
See, I'm not familiar with any of their shit, except
Yeah, I'm
for the
not.
White Pony stuff.
I mean, that's surprising though, because I mean, I know like Mascara was on a few. Around the Fur itself was around a few things. Like anything MTV was like, this is the MTV album.
We just
by
probably
Deftones.
passed over stuff we didn't care to hear.
Right, but I'm saying
Because you
like,
know there was probably like
if you
Korn
go back,
played before
if
them
you go
or
back and
Zombie
listen
played
to,
before
Yeah.
them.
you watch
And
MTV. This
the
is what
TV
they're
was
playing.
taken from us after
When
that.
This is the
the year
MTV
this
album.
album came out, MTV was playing Cardigans a lot,
A lot
Spice
of rap
Girls,
stuff.
Right,
a
but
lot
that's
of rap
that's
stuff.
the rock album that MTV went to though, because Deftones is such a lighter.
Yeah,
band
but they probably
compared
also
to-
played it at a later time during the day.
Right.
They were playing that. What's her name?
And,
Donna
I mean,
Lewis.
I enjoy that album thoroughly. I really do.
always
Like, I like
ever
Adrenaline
do.
more.
We stay together, dude.
And then they were playing Sugar Ray.
Yeah, they were
and
playing
Smash
Sugar Ray a
Mouth.
lot, Smash Mouth.
But this was
This is
before
97,
All Star
though.
Smash Mouth.
Yeah, this is before All Star.
And it was weird because the year before that it was like good shit. And then that was like the change.
Yeah.
98
when
was like.
Matchbox 20 was being
I kind of
played
feel like
heavily on
98
there.
is a ballad year.
98 was a definite different year.
It was to 97, and then 99 was more like a celebration of the end of the decade
The heavy shit started coming back.
with a flavor from 97 and what came before. I don't know. 99
Let me
was a good
see.
year.
I'll trade you, and you finish talking about.
And Travis is like, let me jam. I'm tired of hearing both of you suck.
A little soft, Travis. Soft.
Ooh, Papa do some mama, baby. That's what he just did. I'm just saying. So I mean,
It does sound much better than that.
this whole album, to me, this whole album was the MTV album. You know, I
Yeah,
love
it's
it.
a pop album.
It's memorable, but it's not as great as what comes to be as White Pony. Adrenaline was fucking so much better than this album because of its rawness. I don't agree like the self-title was as good as this album. But everything after the self-title was better than this album to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Diamond Eyes, Saturday Night Wrist was better than this album. Yo no Kuto, what the fuck is it called? Hey, what is that? Yo
No Kunu.
Yeah.
Whatever that one. That one's better than this album. I mean, this is at the bottom of my list.
Are you
Damn,
fucking
that's at the
serious?
bottom?
Because it's so...
That's my favorite one.
I mean,
people.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm looking at this like, okay,
Where
this is obviously,
different ways
This-
of listening, though.
yeah, but
I've heard this
the
too
way I
much.
listen to this is the most, this exactly. This is the Dookie.
It's too popular.
This is the
You're
Green Day
my
Dookie,
favorite.
or Green Day
Oh my
American
God.
Idiot. That's what that is.
Everyone else knows this album by...
It's Pink Floyd The Wall.
People who say, yeah, I
That's
know
what it is.
Deftones.
This is
No,
the one
this
everyone
album-
knows.
This
Dark
episode
Side
is
of the
off the
Moon.
rails.
I have an appreciation more for their stuff that's not known. You understand?
Hey, I can't hear. You're playing way too loud.
That's
This
what I gotta say.
episode's
I
off
got
the
nothing
rails,
else.
baby.
I got nothing else.
It's my favorite one, probably because it brings me to a time of metal.
We'll
music.
see you in a minute.
That is
Josh.
this
Jump
is.
up.
I get what you're saying.
Alright, keep
Because
going.
this is when it comes to like, let's say I'm talking to somebody who, like this. But the weird thing is to me, White Pony is the more popular, well-known album.
It's not though, because
It
considering
is. It
considering when
is,
people
man.
go, it is the best because
Like-
everyone says it's their best album, which I agree. It is their best album because when
So I'm
it
gonna
comes,
say White Pony's number 2 though. After this, like.
see
I
that's
love
where
this
we
one.
fight. You love that one, but see, I'm the opposite. I love White Pony more because of
White
the
Pony has a lot more
experience.
experimental.
It is. It's more experimental,
It's
but
more
the flow.
It's
I
more
think,
musical. I will agree. It's more musically interesting. There's a lot more interesting stuff happening on White Pony than this album, but I don't know what it is.
I
This
think
one
the
just-
flow to White Pony is
gets
so
me
much
right.
better. than
Yeah,
that one.
White Ponies when they first started fucking with shoegaziness, slower, drony tempos, which I love.
And every song fits to the next. And I think,
Yeah.
again, we've went over this before in other videos where I was saying I always love an album more when it has a good flow, one song after the next.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Around the Fur is fucking amazing. But I think the White Pony, the reason why it's my favorite is because of how good the flow is from one song into the next song. When you don't have to shuffle because you don't want to, because you want to hear the next song that goes into it, because it just flows so much better. And we'll get into that. But hopefully we want to take a break because I have to pee.
I gotta pee and I want a cigarette. But anyway, I like to do ratings. What would you rate the first album, Adrenaline?
The first album, out of 10,
Yeah, 1 out of 10.
I would say it's definitely a 9. I mean, if not
Especially
10,
for it being a debut
it's
that
such a
sounds
good,
so good.
fucking. I didn't even realize I don't really care for grunge rock that much, but I didn't realize how much I loved this album because I think it was such a good mix of grunge and metal itself, and it was just a start of it. Like
Yeah. It was when
is
that shit
time
was
frame.
new, man.
It was that time frame, not even when it's called new metal. It
Not
was just
even
that
new
time
metal,
frame when
it
you
was-
start getting heavier distortion in with a grungy sound. And the rawness of it that I have fallen in love with over the years of my age. I guess, yeah. I'm 34 and just over time I've come to appreciate how much the grungy raw sound of things, where it's not live, but it's not like the best produced recording can sound brilliant to you.
That's why I hate people. You know, I'm a massive grunge fan. Mainstream grunge.
I can't say that because there's some
Underground grunge. I love Soundgarden, Stone Temple Pilots.
Some shit in there.
Love Nirvana. I love that shit. I love Melvins, Screaming Trees. It's metal, but it's not. Like,
Right.
there's so much
heavy distortion to it.
There's punk, there's metal, like there's so much. It's like taking all the good heavy music, throwing it in there.
Exactly.
That's what I love about grunge so much. And the fact that, I hate to say it, but it was to me the last really good heavy rock music that was hitting the radio. Where like most of it I love. But
because it wasn't the same thing after each band. Like, I understand that, because nowadays
you had the copycat guys
one band
too.
that sounds like the last band that sounds like the last band. But back in the 90s, you didn't have that. You had, every grunge band had their own style. And you had similarities,
they were all different, but
they were
similar.
all different. And they weren't sound like the same. Like, you can't get confused
Stone
between the
Temple
Melvins.
Pilots doesn't sound like Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam doesn't
sound like Nirvana, doesn't sound like Soundgarden.
And a lot of them came from the same scene in the same city, but they all were distinctly different.
And most of them came out from Seattle. So, but
and even people consider, you know, Smashing Pumpkins, they had a grunginess to those first couple albums, and they were from Chicago. And I mean, fucking,
I can see how this gets addictive.
It's good. I'm not a sour guy
I don't want
because
another one,
here's
but I
the
want a
thing
piece
with
of this
sours. Most sours, they're $10 six packs like most of what I buy, but normally a sour's alcohol content barely hits 5. I'm a person, I'm not going below a 6.5 because I like, if I'm going to spend $10 on a 6-pack, I want to get fucked up off of 3 beers.
Right.
But that's a sour that is at 9%.
It's pretty high.
And yeah, and for it to taste as flavorful as it does, it is fucking good. But, alright, so you gave that one a 9. I give it a 9 too. What about Around the Fur? What do you
Around the Fur, it's not perfect to me because I think it's overplayed. And I've had too long to listen to it.
I guess too, like, I'm much newer to the album.
Yeah. And I can see where you're coming from, like, me being a fan since, like I said, 2004. I think Around the Fur, I'm going to say about an 8 to a 9.
Which
is
isn't
still
bad.
a fucking
It's a great
amazing
fucking
album,
grade.
but it is one of those too popularized albums where I've heard it so much where I don't want to give it too low of a net thing because I love it so much, but I've heard it so much too. So between 7 and I really can't say because some days I really love the album. There's some days I was like, man, I want to skip everything on it. So it's like, it's 7 to 9, depending. I mean, it really depends on the day. It really, I can't give it a definite. Like, I would say an 8 to give it a definite, just because it's in between 7 and 9. But the fact of the matter is, because like I said, it's one of those albums where it's so super popularized. Like, it's like, to me, I love Slipknot, but I don't put Slipknot's first album as number 1 because of its being so popularized and everyone knows it. And I like to be the one guy that says, well, you think this album's more popularized, but think of how many songs of that album have actually been on radio, on movies, on shows, on reality shows or whatever like that. Think about that. We all know that Shove It, My Own Summer has been on everything.
See, I've never heard it on nothing, unless
you have heard it, but you never paid attention.
I didn't know.
And I think that if you went back to the times, there are so many fucking late '90s and early 2000s movies that My Own Summer's song has been on. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, I couldn't name them because it's been like, it's sporadic. Like, you're like, you catch it and you're like, yeah, that's what it is. And then, like I said, Overdrive's been on there a lot. And then Around the Fur itself has been on a lot of stuff. And I think it's just because that album was their breakout album. That album was what, hey, people said we need to pay attention to this. White Pony was their big one. I think that's what really pushed them over, and everyone's like, that's their number one album.
That was the massive hit.
But when it comes to popular songs, though, besides the Fly song, Around the Fur was what was pushing them over. That was their MTV album.
See, I would say White Pony was definitely my first introduction to them. Mm-hmm. You know, but that's also because, you know, we had MTV from all the early 90s till about till the end of 97. We lost our cable. We got cable back in 99. So that slight era we missed out on when Around the Fur came out.
Right.
We got early 90, or really it was late 98. We got MTV back, and by that point, all that Around the Fur Deftones was being pushed out, and what was happening now was Godsmack, Static X, Korn way heavily.
Yeah.
System of a Down
was getting in there finally. System of a Down started coming in.
I missed that era, but since I was watching MTV heavily in 2000, that Deftones, the White Pony hit, it dropped, and it was all over.
Now, I would say Changing the House of Flies is their most popular song.
I would agree too, ever the most popular.
But,
and
like I said,
hated it when it came out, but I love it now.
It's
but
such a good song.
I'm going to give Around the Fur another 9. Just because I like the way it sounds, man. I really enjoy the heaviness. Like I said, I guess I just, I'm so late to the game.
Are fucking just...
The first 3 I love. Fucking love. I'm going to give it a 9, but here's the thing. People are going to trip because your favorite album, you don't always have to rate it a 10.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. Because this is where we're going to get a little crazy. But I need to smoke a cigarette, and I really got to pee, so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll see you guys in just a moment. But right now we're talking about White Pony. David will be here in a moment. White Pony. I hate to start talking about this without David here. Hurry your ass up! Where you is? Oh, man. I can't have any more beer after this, because I am done. I am fucking done. Well, what do you think about White Pony, Josh? This is the classic.
I don't do heroin.
Yeah, right.
Or listen to Genuine. Genuine did that. Ride my White Pony.
No clue.
No, he did Pony. It was. Honestly, like I said, I'll be honest. I really never listened to much after Around the Fur. It was really Around the Fur and Adrenaline. I listened to this a little bit. It's hard when you listen to music that you haven't really listened to before and you try to do other stuff. It's hard to focus and being kind of sick all week and not really being able to fucking get shit done. Now, yeah, I played it in the background. Of course, I'm tired of change. Ugh. It's not a bad song, I'm just tired of it. Change in the House of Flies. Back to School, yeah, that's pretty fucking cool right there. I mean, it's a pretty fucking good album. It's a really good album. I remember listening to I'd have to listen to it a few more times to really get into the lyrically, but musically, I like it. It's it came off to be a little more of the new metal sound. It's more little. It's really fucking hard for me to really remember because I really focus too much on the singing.
This album to me, I can hear. When this album came out, I was highly in my industrial goth kid phase. So if anything didn't sound like Rammstein or Marilyn Manson, I wasn't getting into it. I was getting into Static X, Orgy, and System of a Down at this point. But when this came out, I thought it was weak. I was not liking any of it. Back in 2000, man, I was 14 years old.
And it's harder to fucking get into music back then because now we have all this streaming shit. It's easy to pick up a song and download it and listen to it. Back then, you had to go out of your way, buy it.
Yeah.
That's if you knew it was out.
Yeah.
We didn't have. There's not much access to be able to know what movie.
Back then,
music
a
came
lot of
out.
times we didn't know shit was coming out till we saw the video or
And then-
heard it on
and
the
then to
radio.
get it, you still had to go out of your way. You had to go to the store with money and buy the shit. You couldn't just fucking. You could steal about that time. Yeah, you could like go on Napster and fucking shit.
All right, sorry.
That was still sketchy at best.
Yeah.
Get some
I'm a little bit.
accidentally doubt like child
I'm a
porn
little bit
on
on-
the computer
I'm a
and
little
shit.
bit on the
Scary.
tipsy. I'm a little bit on the tipsy. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm not having any more beers though, because if I don't, I'm not driving home.
I don't want that. I want a PBR.
I really want another
I'm
beer,
white
but I
trash,
don't know.
we're
I don't
in
know
trouble.
if Travis wants me hanging out with him all night.
And he's like,
Like, yeah,
got
it's 7
beer
in the
my
morning.
hand.
Sorry, Travis. I didn't mean to keep you up all night.
All right, we're on White Pony.
What's that?
He don't want
Is
it.
that another? No,
That's
not.
Mr. Crunkles. Try it.
It's Crunkles. Put your balls in
What
his
does it
mouth.
smell like?
Mr. Crunkles is one of my favorites of the
Smells like
Terrapin.
sunflower.
The way Travis describes something, the way it tastes, are two
Hey,
different
what?
things.
Oh, that's gross.
Oh no.
Oh, that's awful.
Is that one of your flowery drinks? Tastes like flowers.
It is. It's tropical agave IPA.
In other words, it tastes like you're drinking a plant.
Okay, so what about the sour one?
So we're talking.
I've had better tasting
I'm
parts.
just not the biggest fan of sours.
yeah. But if you want to
Sours-
have one,
This is more of a citrus. This is a citra.
Yeah, dude.
hopped
I don't like
Indian
that.
I might be
Yeah.
hooking myself up some sours though. I actually dig that sour.
that was good. But
Alright.
if you want one beer,
But right now,
Crazy.
if you want one beer and get drunk off of it, that's good.
All right, man. Here we go.
right
White
now we're
Pony.
talking about White Pony.
White Pony.
Like I was just saying, when White Pony came out, I was in a different place musically.
Yeah, I was in Green Day.
Um,
I was waiting on Warning to come out when this was
Yeah,
coming out.
I was waiting on Holy Wood.
Yeah, that's where we were in our musical tastes.
I was more
I was in
into.
Green Day at that time too. Yeah,
I was
very
the
Green Day-ish.
industrial kid. I was, I was not liking the singles,
Because all we got fed was MTV, TRL.
Yeah, to me, this is the most MTV.
It is.
Deftones album.
It's the chocolate starfish of the Deftones.
Nah. Not that bad.
I'm not saying it's bad.
Don't listen.
I'm
to
not
that.
saying it's bad. I'm saying it's the most
It is
commercial.
their
And chocolate
best or
starfish
second
is
to
the
best.
most commercial Limp Biscuit.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, the weirdest thing about this album is I have the white version.
What?
Um,
There's versions?
Yeah, there's a white and
gray
a blue.
version.
It's also blue.
Well, then it should be called Blue or Grape Pony.
The original version was a gray cover. And check it. Let me see this.
White Pony.
There is
White Pony does not sound cool.
um,
Pony
There's
does
the
not
song
make it cool.
Pink Maggot at the end of the album. But then the first track on this version is called
Didn't
Back
do
to
my
School, in parenthesis,
Man, hold on.
Mini Maggot.
It's a stoner.
Now,
I mean, I'm the biggest stoner in the room, and I didn't
Back
ever
to
listen
School, I remember
you say it's a stoner album.
I remember
And I'm like,
MTV
man,
playing.
Just
I remember
listen to
MTV playing the music video
Trust me.
for Mini Maggot
I
Back
got
to
it.
School
I got
all
respect for that
the
album.
time, and I was not
Oh,
getting
remember
into it. I was not getting into it, and then changing, like I said, with changing the House of Flies all over MTV, and our mom always at any MTV reality show at this point in time,
Oh my
our
God.
mom was all over it. She would stay at home, not do shit,
Just
mom.
stop. Seriously.
She was.
He's going on a mom rant right now.
She was. I am not doing shit except for sitting around, taking my pills, getting wasted, and passing out in the bathroom, mom.
Dude, there was the same moment in 2006 to 2007.
Nothing but reality
Where
TV
Mom-
reruns all day. And I did when I was young.
Same shit.
I did like the old Real World shows. I did like a lot of those. I did like some Road Rules, but
It's the same
all
same shit.
the time, like I said, they were playing. Anytime there was a drama scene, it was Changing the House of Flies. It would be
But
like,
you would always see the same
want
shows.
you to change, and it was like, this is the point in my life where I was like, I hated anything on MTV except for Jackass. And
Times.
after this,
Jackass and
after this
Death
era,
Match.
Bam Margera.
Celebrity Deathmatch.
Bam Margera.
Not
Well, a
no,
couple.
man.
Jackass
Fear.
a couple years
Yeah,
after
a couple
this.
years after
Fear
Jackass.
was
I
one of
did
the
watch
great
some
ones. I
Fear.
love
I did enjoy Fear
Probably
for a
because they played
minute.
Voodoo with intro.
I did. We watched all of Fear, but it
We
wasn't.
didn't like Fear. We didn't like it all that much, but
But we
it was
still
cool.
watched it.
It was
We
different.
still watched it because there was nothing else on TV
Yeah,
at the
exactly. It
time.
was different.
You know?
Because MTV was our channel when we were kids,
Yeah, it was.
man.
Yeah, it
But,
was.
and
And
we
it
witnessed
changed, and we
the
didn't like the change.
We witnessed that massive
No House of
change,
Flies.
and
We need to do an
hated it.
MTV episode.
No, we don't.
Yes.
We did one.
We need to do
Well,
another.
see, because it
But we
then came
didn't get
MTV
it.
2. That's where everything went to, and then came MTV 3. Didn't they have an MTV X or some shit?
I have no clue.
We never had the MTV paid
They had
channels.
so many fucking versions.
The pay
It was
extra
like where
channels.
the music goes. They came out MTV 2. And that's where the music went.
Well,
And that shit
Just
became
have
fucking
a
shows.
vault.
When we got DigiCable back in 09, we had MTV2 and MTV Tres, or however you say the Spanish 3.
Trey.
Tres.
Chase.
Tres.
Uno, dos, tres,
Tres.
cuatro,
Um,
cinco,
and-
seis.
So, anyway, this was a point in
I
my
don't know
life where
Spanish.
most of my MTV consumption during the week
MTV ended
was
in the 2000s.
mom watching these shitty reality shows, and then on Sundays we got to watch Jackass. And so I got so sick of changing the House of Flies because it was on every drama scene. It was like, why? Why are you doing
Every
this? I
fucking-
fucking hated that song. And back to school, I was not getting into this shit. When this came out,
To school.
see, and Zach and I were homeschooled our entire life, and
We were not schooled. It's
and
better to say we were not schooled than homeschooled because we didn't do a goddamn thing, and you know we didn't do a goddamn thing. I'm
Anyway.
sorry.
anyway,
Saying the truth, you know,
Um,
these people gotta know these two motherfuckers ain't educated. But look at us now. Sorry. Words and things.
Words
People
and
are
things.
dying.
That's my thing. That's my
Words
go-to. Words
and
and things. Anyway, I was not into a lot of the popular rock music at this time, and so this is when I wrote Deftones off when I was a kid. All right, and I stayed the fuck away. All them years. I even made it a point to refuse to listen to Change in the House of Flies. Like I said, for 2 years after this, 3 years after this, Josh burned me a copy of the phenomenal Queen of the Damned soundtrack.
And
Surprise!
good.
And surprise!
It is a good.
Yeah.
it does come out of nowhere on the soundtrack
You know,
too.
out of nowhere.
'Cause he
you
never
know,
sings it in the movie. He doesn't do that.
The first half, like I've said before, the first half is the great songs made for the Lestat band. And then the other half of the album is popular new metal. It's a who's who of a new metal movie soundtrack. It gets to have Change in the House of Flies. So I was like, God damn it, this song is on here. Fuck.
It was
Then
2003.
Then I just avoided it. I was like, I'm not fucking with this. But then I had another experience with this album. There was a lady named Brandy that Stas used to work with over at PetSmart.
Oh yeah.
And we had borrowed her truck to move to our second apartment that we were moving into.
Across the street.
And she
You always move across the street.
We always do, right? Isn't that crazy? And she had this CD in the CD player of the truck, and I'm like, me and Josh and Stasi are driving around. We're loading the truck up, and I'm listening. I'm like, this is fucking good. What is this that we're listening to that this lady has in her truck? And she comes over and we're hanging out. She's like, yeah, it was Deftones. I'm like, whoa, that was fucking Deftones? What?
So that was your first
Wow.
time ever really
That was my
listening.
first time kind of, like being like, this is something I need to pay more attention to. But then after that, never
just
checked
never
them
thought
out
about
again.
it. You just
Never
never
thought
really
about
thought
it
about it.
again. Got more into the industrial stuff. Just I followed. It was nothing but industrial for years.
Damn.
And
so we're
then
1:30 and we
then
hear Travis.
when
He got into it.
David came over
Where?
and he played We Dig
there.
Gore. We
I
Dig
know
Gore.
where it is.
I listened to Gore and I was
Thanks,
like,
Brad.
you know what? This is a damn good album and this is a band that I need to check out. So last year I bought this back in April because I was just bored as fuck. I'm like, I need to hear something this morning. And I was like, this is a fucking
You bought this
fantastic.
last year?
Yeah, back in April last year.
Was the hype sticker right there?
Yeah, that is the hype sticker.
Was it already there?
I can't remember if I peeled it off the
'Cause
plastic.
I think
and
you
put it on
did,
there.
because when I swiped my finger, I pulled.
Yeah, if it peeled up a little
Yeah,
bit.
it peeled
then
up
yeah.
a little bit, and I don't want to do that and fuck
Anyway,
it up even more.
I listened to it and I was like, wow, this is a phenomenal album.
Alright, we're on 3.
A fucking phenomenal album. This is the point when Zach is drunk as fuck and it's late.
I'm
and
not
he's just wanting
drunk.
to rush
No.
everybody.
No, I'm trying to rush you. Because we're on 3?
This is the point when I'm drunk and I won't shut up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Travis
This-
won't stop
this is
talking
the
about
point.
the same goddamn album for 20 goddamn minutes.
We'll get to
and
it.
I'm like, I'm
Or-
sorry. Next.
This
Next
is
one
next.
down.
I got a lot of build up to this one. I
Ah,
don't have a lot of build up.
I'm
to the
over
others.
it. Next.
Anyway, I was like, wow, this is a phenomenal fucking record. And I hate that I slept on these guys for so long. So after that, I was like, boom, buying
in a
all their
coma.
stuff. Did it.
I didn't
and
do my homework.
This really started my
Meatloaf.
love for the band. And like I
Meatloaf.
said, I spent all these years avoiding
That's what it should say.
changing the House of Flies. I actually really like this song
Such a
now.
good
I'm
fucking
really
album.
into it. I'm really into it. This album is phenomenal. Love it. Every track. This is when, especially after a newbie, coming
Ozzy
on
over
to
here.
all of their stuff. Coming off to all their stuff, this album really gets more
This is Black
experimental. Gets more experimental.
NIV, ain't it?
Fucks around with more
Right there.
shoegaze kind of stuff. It's a very shoegaze, dream pop
Shoegaze.
stoner album, as opposed to the most new metal thing on here.
Shoegaze.
Yeah, shoegaze.
What that mean?
Shoegaze is a
get
style
it.
of music.
What that mean?
It's the
It's
what?
a genre. Shoegaze is a genre of music that's fairly drony, fairly dreamy. The reason they call it shoegaze is because the band members
I've never
who
heard.
pioneered the genre would just kind of stare at the floor while they just slowly
Oh.
jammed. Basically, they're
Slow
staring at their
toned
shoes.
album.
Slow tone. My Bloody Valentine is an
I mean,
early
if you're a good
pioneer
musician, you
of
always look
shoegaze.
down.
But anyway, phenomenal album.
Sleeping metal.
Highly fucking
Like
recommended.
just like.
Oh my God, David,
Got
you
this.
have the mic.
All right. First album I've ever listened to fully through was this album. White Pony is by far my number one. I don't care what you fucking say. Number one Deftones
My
album.
number 2.
Why? Number two, okay.
you
Why
like
is
boobs.
this number one? Yes,
I like Tabu.
I heard this while stoned and had a new experience more than anybody else. Like you listen to when you're on mushrooms and listen to a fucking song, and you're like, holy shit, this is a life experience. This is what I felt
Never
like while
listened to mushrooms or had mushrooms or acid and listened to music.
I would not recommend it because you will be
No.
stuck on that album for the rest of
No,
your life.
you'll
This
listen to the
album,
same
I
song
first
for
heard
10 hours.
Deftones said while I was stoned as hell with some good bass in the background because that just adds to the experience of being high. And no, you do not have to be stoned while listening to this album, but there are so many good fucking songs progressively on this album that it just makes you go, what the fuck, why aren't these bands today doing anything like this? Because they have no fucking creativity. This band here, Knife Party, when you fucking get into it and you hear the woman screaming and just about like belching.
Her screaming reminds
of
me
murders
of
slash
her
party.
Who's the
screaming.
woman?
Who
It
knows?
says, no, I think it said it's his wife. There's a lot of the female sounds.
She knew married?
No, it's not his wife. It was like a random girl
But
at
is
the
he
time.
married?
I don't know. I didn't look
The
at
female though,
Fuck.
the female vocal part on that
Anyway.
track reminds me so much of the female vocal track on Dark Side of the Moon. With
Right.
okay.
Like it
Party.
is that
Night
fucking
Party has
cool.
this urgency, this oh my god, what the fuck is happening to this woman? I mean, it goes with, and it's musical.
It's this
like
frantic
what the
melodic
fuck,
screaming.
and it's not like it's her singing at the same time of screaming in terror, and you feel it. It embodies your entire soul of what this woman is going through, and you don't even know, like, you just know that there is stabbing. Somebody is dying.
Somebody's being stabbed.
And it's just, when you, I get it, when you're high, your senses are heightened, but even when I'm sober, it's still the fact of the matter is this woman, I feel there's pain and suffering going through this drowning sound of her voice, and is perfectly produced on this song alone. Korea is another fantastic, amazing song. Teenager, just this deep, the ambiance of this whole album.
There's so much atmosphere.
The atmosphere
on this
alone.
album.
Elite digital bath. Of course, Back to School is the first song you hear, and yeah, it's
Which on the original version, it's not on there.
It's not. And then you get Passenger, which adds in everyone's favorite
Passenger's
fucking
so
prog metal, Maynard Keenan.
Yeah,
Comes in with
Maynard
this,
is on
with
there.
this fantastic fucking small part that he just sings over and over again, but it is just fits perfectly. And I mean, it ends.
And what's
obviously-
crazy is Passenger musically has a Tool vibe.
It's very Tool vibey, and obviously this is where Tool came out with. I think the
Lateralis was on the horizon.
Yeah, their Lateralis album was coming out right around this time frame, and it's just it fit perfectly for this album. This whole album starts from start to finish is this ambiance of perfection to me, where it just makes you feel floaty. It makes you feel like you're coming up. You start out with this kind of heaviness to it.
It's
Zach
a
gets
very
the fuck away.
dreamy album.
It's very dreamy, and I mean, you listen to one song to the next, and even if you skip around, it just feels like you're kind of in it. You're zoned in. You're like, oh my god, I'm with it. Even if you mix around the songs, they just kind of flow very well.
It's like a sensory deprivation chamber in album form.
It's got this echoey kind of feel to it too. Like
I could be in a sensory deprivation chamber, just floating,
right.
and listen to this album a little mentally enhanced, and just be nowhere.
It's got a good meditation kind of feel to it.
Exactly.
Like you just close your eyes and you can just feel this album, and that's one thing why I think
it's heavy, but it's not heavy.
exactly, and it just fills your entire body, and that's the one thing I love about this album so much is that you can go to their albums prior to this, and yeah, you can feel it. You get the headbang, you get the grunge,
you can hear
get
the
rawness.
build up to what this was gonna be.
But this album alone is just perfect. To me, it's perfectly produced.
Yeah.
Like to where you can feel it within your inner body, and this is my number one album by Deftones because of that. Because when you listen to their songs from this album, anywhere into it, you can feel what they're feeling. You can get a sense of where they're gonna go with it. It gives you, as I like to say, the tingles, the goosebumps, the
chills,
the floatiness, it's everything you need to just a calm within a wave. It is a good album to listen to when everything else around you is chaos. This album no matter how crazy certain songs sound, such as Knife Party and Teenager can get, or RX Queen, which is kind of an obscene, crazy kind of song, it gives you that kind of feel of bringing you down and to a certain point to where you can just go, I feel what's going on right here and right now. And that's probably, like I said, this is probably the one album I can express more than anything else when it comes to Deftones.
After here on out, we're flying through this shit.
Yeah, we're going to fly through it because it's kind of like, yeah, I get it. But this album alone, like I said, is one of my favorite top 10 albums of my life.
Wow.
I would say. Like, if anyone says, what are the top 10 albums, I couldn't put this in a certain place, but I could say that this would be...
System down.
Exactly. I'm not a huge fan of Deftones, but this album alone is one of those albums that I can always go back to and always feel like, what can help? There's craziness going around, there's stress and everything. I can feel something that would just bring me to a point where I feel a little bit of myself and within myself, and that is this album. White Pony is the album that kind of goes, look, you can calm. There's things apart that can push you ahead, and this is what brings you down to the point where you can think very well. And that's how much I really, this is one of my top 10 albums, of my life.
Man, that's some touching shit.
So that's what I got on it. I got nothing
fucking
else.
Shit. What would you rate it?
I mean, to me, it'd be
Nine?
a 10
Oh,
out of,
10.
it's a 10. But there are points in it, it could be a 9, but it's pretty much a 10 for me. I mean, there's nothing else for that album. I can listen to every fucking song on that album, whether it's to Change House of Flies a million times, but every other song on there does it for me.
And for me, it is a 10. It is a 10. And like I said, like your favorite album will never always be a 10. Like I said, Around the Fur is my favorite. But this one is so close. But I give it a 10, whereas Around the Fur gets a 9. This one gets a 10 based off experimentation, originality, and how it has more of what I love about music than Around the Fur, but I think I like Around the Fur a little more because of the more heaviness. But this one, man, it's such a good, chill, heavy album. And damn. And what I hate to say it, that like every album after this kind of just tries to do this. And never really matches.
Towards the end, they change up things. Of their last album.
But next up we have what,
2003
self-titled album. Most people call it Minerva because of the popular Minerva song, but I really like this album too. I like this one a lot. This one, it's, to me, from here on out, the albums kind of bleed together. It's a Deftones sound. Whether it's chill, whether it's heavy, whether they fuck with something different, it still just kind of sounds like Deftones.
I think Minerva, they tried to separate they tried to get a little bit heavier. Like, you can definitely tell there's a few songs that are definitely more downtoned, and they're faster. They are, but the album itself is forgettable.
Yeah.
It's good. Now, don't let me tell you, like, anything by Deftones is fucking...
Like, they don't have a bad album.
They don't. There's not one that I can't be like,
they have
I can't
samey albums, they have mediocre albums, but they don't have bad albums.
But with the Deftones, the only, like I said, the only memorable is Minerva, really. Because that's their popular song.
That one, Hexagram, I really like.
That one's good. But like it's very samey, and it's kind of like it's a good album to listen to, but you're not going to remember much from it.
And Moana, I really like. But like you said, when I'm done listening to this album,
You're moving on.
It is in and out of my fucking ear.
Right, it's good to listen to, but you're not going to remember going back to. There's nothing.
But there are people that absolutely love this record. There are people who are all about this album, and I'm glad there is. For me, like I said, I'm in a different place Deftones wise because I'm so new to this band, and I kind of get a little bored with it. It doesn't do me like White Pony or Around the Fur.
Yeah, I would say like the first 4 songs on this album are pretty much the most memorable ones. The rest of it, they're good songs. They're well produced. They're not bad at all to listen to, but they're forgettable. And this whole album itself,
doubles down on the shoegaziness, but like every album.
This is probably my second to least. Yeah, this is probably my second least favorite album.
Yeah.
They've come out with. Now, not saying it's bad. It's a good album.
It's not a go-to.
Everything by Deftones is fucking amazing to listen to, but when it comes to how much you want to listen to it, this is probably the second to least favorite album I'm going to listen to. And this is when we start getting to where Travis likes a little bit more than what I like. Because we'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, I don't care for this album. I don't go to it for a lot of the songs. Needles and Pins is a good fucking phenomenal song on here.
Yeah.
Minerva is...
Everything is decent at best for me.
Yeah, but it's really not memorable. I don't care for it. And I'm like, okay, moving on. And that's what I got to say. I got nothing else to say about that album.
Did you listen to any of this, Josh?
I started to. It was. Yeah, I said.
Hey, Zach!
Zach is tapped out.
Being like sick and been doing all this work shit like this, I couldn't get into it as much as
True.
the previous ones.
Moving on, Saturday Night Wrist. That's the next one, right?
Yeah. Well, next technically is the B-sides.
It's got some alright songs on it, but who cares?
Shit, but yeah, who cares? Next, is Saturday
Night Wrist. Now, I like this album a lot because
I really do.
I think this album is start where Deftones like, look, we need to do something a little bit heavier, a little bit memorable. Rats, to me, is by far one of their heaviest fucking songs they've ever done. Even their newest albums. That song's fucking thrash metal all the way through. It's got him screaming on it. He doesn't sing. I mean, he sings a little bit, but it's fucking amazing. And then you have their most experimental fucking song, Pink Cell Phone.
Pink Cell Phone is
which
awesome.
Is by far, what the fuck did I just listen to? I have to hear that again. When I first heard Pink Cell Phone, this bitch is talking about anal fucking. She's talking about putting things in things where they do not belong. I mean, it's a straight up, it's an instrumental where this woman is talking about bleeding and cunt fucking and I mean, random sexual innuendos. And it's crazy. I'm like, what the fuck am I listening to? I had to re-listen to it multiple times when I first heard this album. And that like I said, their most experimental fucking song out there. Stasi gets it. She's smiling at us walking by like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I'm going to take a pee.
Take a pee.
But yeah, I
peeing on.
with
You. It has a fucking part where she's talking about peeing on people. I mean, it's fucking. It is a crazy fucking song.
Golden Shower.
The rest of it, like Golden Shower. I mean, those two songs
are Golden Shower.
One after Rats and Rats and Pink Cell Phone, one after the other are fucking the most memorable things on this album. Though the album is fucking great, and probably one of my top 4. It's probably my fourth album that I love about this album because of how experimental. It's their most experimental album I think they've done. Just when it comes to certain sounds they do, certain things they try to do different. It doesn't sound anything like the albums prior, and doesn't sound anything like their stuff afterwards. And I love how weird and crazy it gets, especially like I said, Pink Cell Phone is by far the only reason why you should listen to this album is because of that. Then you'll be happy with it because of how weird it is. It's just like I said, it's the top 4 of the Deftone albums.
So up.
I mean, it's got that droniness. It's got that shoegaze, as Travis likes to say.
Yeah, it's got the shoegaze.
It's got like this experimental industrial sound to it.
Yeah, it's
all over the place.
There's a lot of stuff happening on here.
But it works very well. And like I said, to me, it's one of their heavier albums because they have a lot of songs on here that are real, like, down-tone
It doubles
guitars,
down on the heavier shit.
and a lot of thrash stuff. Like I said, Rats, Rats, Rats is probably one of their more heavier, thrashy songs.
No, we're not talking about Ghost right now.
We're not talking about Ghost, but like I said, it's like Chino goes crazy with vocals on this album. He tries a lot of new things with his vocals. He screams a lot more than he does on the other albums. And he kind of just says, look, we're going to do something heavy. And that's what I think he did with this album. And I have a phenomenal kind of view on this album because it was probably the third album I heard by them that I actually focused on and was like, what the fuck am I listening to? And this time this came out, I was a big into Chimera, which is a real heavy band out there. And I was into a lot like Nemec. At the time, I think this came out, 2006, 2007 is when this album came out?
2006.
Yeah. So, around this time frame, I was into a lot of heavy shit, and Saturday Night Wrist just kind of, like, brought me down and said, dude, there's some fucked up shit going on. You need to check this out. And that's when Deftones came out for me, when I was like, what the fuck? Alright, this is some badass shit. So, that's what I got. that long rant.
This album is damn fucking good. I agree with everything you just said. It is a massive step above Minerva, where Minerva kind of just felt like it was sort of going through motions, maybe fucking with some new stuff here and there. This one felt like a more true follow-up to White Pony. As far as experimentation, but it's got that Deftones aesthetic. There's a Deftones sound, a Deftones vibe that is on every album, and like I said, that shoegaziness is still in there. That dream pop sound that it's still all over here, even though it's got more heavy tendencies. And you're right, like some of their heaviest songs, as opposed to like the first two albums, are definitely on here. Like this is some of the heaviest stuff since Around the Fur, since Adrenaline, up to this point. Cause the self-titled album it's fairly chill, fairly slow, mostly soft. Whereas White Pony is a decent balance between the soft and the heavy, but that one gets a lot more heavy. Now both of you motherfuckers are sitting here damn playing roulette.
He's playing roulette. I was actually playing. I was playing ATW.
I was hearing aerials, and I swear I heard you fucking with roulette.
That's why I love System of Down.
System of
Down
Down's
chill.
rad,
Other
man.
music is so chill and laid back.
So chill and laid back,
That's what I would
and
do
then
mushrooms and
so
listen to System of
frantic
Down.
and wild.
Mushrooms and System of Down. That's good.
But man, the Saturday Night Wrist is an album that I highly recommend. Love the shit out of this. What would you rate it, David?
I would say because it's all over the place.
One
There's
clip though.
about 75% of the album I really love, but the other 25 I can kind of forget about. So I would say 7.5
Wow.
to 8.
Wow. What
Now-
did we rate? We didn't rate Minerva.
That would have been 5.
5. I'd go with 5 as well.
Minerva was kind of like, whatever. Like I love it. I mean, I love all Deftones. I'm a huge Deftones fan, but when it comes to, it's one of their weakest albums.
Death Head.
He's a death head.
When it comes to all their 9, they're 10 albums technically if you count their cover album. It's their weakest one, or second to weakest maybe. Like I said, between me and you, I don't care for your Toucan, whatever the fuck it's called. That to me is their weakest album, but this would be second to that. So I would definitely just say it's a 5. Now this one, Saturday Night Wrist though, is about 7.5 to 8, and only because there are a few songs on there where they're kind of like, yeah, whatever.
Calypso.
You know, it's kind of like, okay, I got it. But there are so many memorable, like I said, there's just a lot of crazy, like, experimental, stuff to go in here to keep me interested enough to where I'm listening to one song and then I listen to the next song, I'm like, yeah, whatever, and then I get to another song, I'm like, what the fuck am I listening to? And then, like I said, Pink Cell Phone does it for me for this album. That song...
It's such a weird track.
I mean, it really is. I mean, there's a lot of bands that do experimental songs on their fucking albums, but nothing to where it just goes, what? I had to re-listen to it. Did I hear that? Did I hear about anal cunt bleeding on someone's face? And you hear a lot of shit. Pink Cell Phone, Rats, Rats, Rats is a fucking, like I said, heavy fucking song on there. To me, it's like a real good thrash metal kind of style to it. And a real grungy, like, in-your-face kind of song. And a lot of that album. So yeah, definitely 7.5 to 8.
We already have tampon teabag.
Tampon teabag.
Right.
Anal cunt.
So definitely that one.
I give this album, I'm in between a 7 and an 8 easily.
7.5, so yeah.
Yeah, it's a damn good album, and you know, not my favorite. But it's good. It's awesome. I mean, but there are people also who love this album and say this is their favorites. Like while I was, doing my preparation for this, I was watching some of their videos, and I've looked at some of the YouTube comments too, and there's a lot of people who are like, "Oh man, this album is my favorite." I like that. I like that people are like, "Oh, this is my favorite," but it's not my favorite. It's up there. It's good. It's a go-to. It's definitely a go-to. But yeah, definitely at least a 7. At least a 7. I hate to do halvesies. So I'm not gonna say 7.5. But
7.65.
right, exactly. 7.6.25.
The fuck? How many points you got in there?
No, it's a 7. It's a damn good album. Massive step above the Minerva album. Next we have, because we're only at 3 more albums left, we can just finish this. Next we have Diamond Eyes, which...
Oh man, I love that album.
Diamond Eyes is fucking awesome.
Phenomenal fucking album.
Really, really harkens back to the, Around the Fur heaviness. Really harkens back to the Adrenaline heaviness, but also has that shoegaze kind of vibe. But man, to me, it's a heavier album than Saturday Night Wrist all the way through. Like, this album is mostly heavy.
It's a better produced album.
All the way
Saturday
through.
Night Wrist.
But one thing I did mean to mention was on Saturday Night Wrist, sadly, which also miraculously, they have mostly been the same band members since the beginning. Except, sadly, after Saturday Night Wrist, their bassist was involved in a car accident.
Yeah, and he died like
fucked
a few
him
weeks
up,
after.
man. It was
He was
like
in a coma
years
for a
after.
long time.
Yeah,
he was in a coma for like a year.
Had him in a
They just pulled the plug
coma.
on him.
Yeah, and so this is the first time with a new bassist, and so sort of and I think I can't remember if it's this or the last one, like they recorded a full album of material and then scrapped it. Said, no, we do not want to do this. Let's start over.
Yeah, this is a good album.
But this is great.
Memorable though, there aren't there's a few songs, like Diamond Eyes, the first song on here is fucking phenomenal. And then I know Sex Tape was a really good one to remember by
976 Evil.
Yeah, and this album flows so well that there's not one thing on here to me at least that is so memorable to where I can remember a song on here, because I love the whole album itself. It feels so good to listen to. And it's one of those albums I could put in and just kind of listen to over and over again and not be bored with it. And though there's, like I said, there's like, other than those 2 songs, there's like, oh, I remember that song.
It's one that when you're listening to it, you're fucking loving it while it's on.
Yeah, and it's just like,
and
man,
when it's
such
over,
a
you're
good...
like, you kind of forget about it.
Right,
You know?
it's a good listen, and it's definitely, there's not too much to dive into it besides that, because like you said, the bassist passed away, unfortunately, before this album was printed. And there's a couple songs on there that I think that he actually recorded onto. I can't remember which ones. I know there's one or two on there that they had the bassist actually on there, the original bassist. Before he passed away, I don't remember his last. It started with a C.
It's like Chi something.
Yeah, but he there's like one or two songs there his actual recording on there, and it's unfortunate that the bassist did not get to see this album for what it was, and it's such a good, like, it's a good listen. It's one of those albums where you put in, you listen all the way through, and you're like, I feel perfectly fine with what I just heard. And like, it's not something that says, oh my god, this whole thing was amazing, but it's like, it's hard to explain how that album Diamond Eyes makes me feel, because it's one of my top albums actually of Deftones, because every time I put it in, I'm just like, man, I feel so good about it.
Yeah.
And I have nothing to complain about it. I have nothing to put down. It's definitely a solid 9 to maybe an 8, but I'd say a solid 9 out of 10 for the album. And like I said, there's nothing like that you want to say that is memorable, because the whole entire album is so memorable. It's so like, I just enjoy it for what it is. You know, it embodies you. You hear it in your stereo system, your headphones, and you just get into it. You're just like, this is what Deftones is. Diamond Eyes is one of their best. Like, it's top 3 for me when it comes to Deftones, because of just how much you could pinpoint, like, this sound, the production of it, the choices that they made for this album worked perfectly for what they wanted.
I can agree with all of that. This album, all the way through, is a really solid listen. And like I said, to me, it feels heavier than Saturday Night. And it sort of harkens back to the adrenaline and Around the First Sound, but it still has that droniness, that shoegaziness. And yeah, like you said, it's one of those albums that every song flows so well, and that's another thing with all their albums flow really good.
Oh yeah,
and
it doesn't confuse you at all.
That's sort of why after White Pony, I kind of just forget about a lot of it. Is that they just do their thing, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, and
up until Gore, like I said, Gore was like kind of like the off-put of everything else, because they went into this more stoner kind of sound. Yeah. They tried a few different things when it came to their setup. I guess I would say, like, when they have different timings on a lot of songs. They have different intros where something would sound one way, and then they would hit you with a completely other random, like pyramids / whatever it's called, triangles. Yeah, pyramids / triangles, where they kind of hit you with 2 different songs in one. But we'll get into that.
But Diamond Eyes, I really highly enjoyed a lot. Because it's just heavy. It's just a nice, cool, heavy album. This Place's Death is awesome. 976 Evil, I like. Sex Tape and the title track,
pretty much.
Royal. It's a damn good album.
Solid.
It's an 8 for me. Definitely an 8. I hate to say that. I don't want to say it's an unmemorable album or a forgettable album, but it's just when it's over. Like I said, to me, there's a lot of bleeding effect. There's a lot of sameness to a Deftones sound. And it doesn't bother me. Like I even mentioned on the Tom Waits Retro, there are bands who I will allow to give me the same album over and over again. And Deftones is fairly one of them, where I enjoy the shit out of it when I'm listening to it and when I want to listen to it. But after it's over, it hasn't left much of an impact. Because I hate to say it, that, like, you know, we were at peak impact with Around the Fur and White Pony, you know, for me at least. But the next album coming up is probably the last one. Well, I wouldn't say last one with an impact.
Gore's pretty impactful.
Exactly, because Gore is what opened my ear to him, so I can't say that.
Which one was Hole in the Earth one?
Huh?
Hole in the Earth.
Hole in the Earth. A song?
Yeah.
It's
That
not.
was.
It's not on here. Gore.
No, it wasn't on Gore. I thought it was on. There's a hole in the earth.
I mean, we probably passed that motherfucker.
No, I'm pretty sure. I thought it was on the last album, but I didn't see it. It might have been the actual Diamond Eyes song. It's just called "Hole in the Earth." Is what the. Was on that one. It was on that one, wasn't it? The first song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It was on. Yeah, that one. That's why it was so good because I love that song.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, the shit bleeds. You don't know
Yeah,
what's on
it
what
really
album.
Other than up until Gore, because Gore was like a separate from everything else to me.
But Koi no Yokan,
Most forgettable album I think they have.
which is this one I love. This album.
I don't know why. Like
Top 3 for
when
me.
you talk about bleeding, it's like I felt like I was just like, God.
There's a
I heard it.
melodic drone to this album that reminds me of the melodic drones from Typo Negative.
Swerve City and Poltergeist are the only songs I remember on this.
There's
yeah, whatever.
There's a melodic drone to this album that does me right. It's doomy, it's droney, and it's melodic. Which, to me, it sounds more different than the last few before this. To me, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on certain things, but to me, it has the most generic sound of it.
Yeah?
Deftones has done.
What year is this?
2011?
Oh, really?
I
11?
think, 12 maybe?
Could be.
What's it say on the copyright?
Those words are 2012, I'm looking here. Those words are too small for my drunk ass to try and focus on.
I didn't connect with this album at all. Like one, I didn't even know it came out until I was already into Gore.
Damn.
Like, I was like, wait a minute, they came out with this, so I went back to that one. I love Swerve City and Poltergeist, but the rest of it's just kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's Deftones. It's a 7 for me. It's nothing's below a 7 on any Deftones album.
Which is phenomenal at best.
Right. I mean, but
Great at
but
best.
to me, this is the most forget. Like, this is my least favorite album. When people say, "Hey," in one, the name of the album's terrible.
Yeah, I don't
it's
understand
Japanese
that.
or Chinese or some
I don't
shit,
get that.
and I don't feel anything for it. The songs are kind of, to me, all over the place. They don't connect anywhere. This is the least like flowing album.
Not as cohesive.
It's not very
as,
cohesive at all. It doesn't do it for me at all. Like, I mean, I go to it, I'm like, yeah, it sounds like a Deftones album, but it sounds like all their songs that they didn't really want to put on an album, but they put on an album.
Damn.
And, I mean, like I said, I've listened to every fucking album by Deftones within the last 2 months, more than one time. And I still get to this is my least favorite. I'm just like, okay, whatever.
This is the thing.
And I think it doesn't help. Like I said, the name of the album doesn't help me at all. I don't remember when trying to say what's an album you
So
want to
another
remember.
thing, I gotta look at it to know what I'm saying, to know what I'm calling it.
And on top of that, like I said, there's only a couple. Like Swerve City, it starts off really good and really heavy, and then it just kind of dies out for me. And it doesn't do anything for me. I don't get excited about it. I don't remember anything on it other than the first few songs. And, you know, even in a drunken stupor, I'm just kind of like, yeah, whatever. I mean, like I said, Gore is so much better than this album. And I think to me, even though it surprises me that this is your top 3, because to me, this is one of their weakest albums. It's my least favorite of all of them. And, I mean, I'm glad that they're going in the direction they're going with after this album, because, like, I loved Gore. And, I mean, everything before this album is so much better. And I'm just like, man, when you told me it's your top 3, I'm just like, What? How? Like, I don't understand it. You can explain it to me, but I can't grasp.
I mean, it's like I said, it's the melodic drones. There are notes that are hit that hit me right.
I guess.
In some of these songs.
It's like if Josh was listening to pop music, he'd go, yeah, whatever.
I mean, but yeah, to me,
I don't know. I like poppy.
This album doesn't ride.
Not poppy, but pop music.
I know.
Hey, I jammed some Kesha. I love the new Kesha album, bro.
I just don't like it.
Fucking
I mean,
jam.
honestly, like I said, 7 is the
Tonight's
lowest
the
I've
best
given
night
album.
of our lives. I can feel it. Can you feel it?
Can you remember one lyric from that album?
No.
Exactly.
But here's the thing. I don't remember
Any lyrics?
from any of these albums. Because another thing too is I'm mostly the musical.
Musically,
I am mostly listening to the musical side.
It's
And
plain,
to me, like
it's
like I
bland.
said, it's hitting musical notes that they hit the drony melodic side that of certain music that I really like.
Y'all might like
And-
it, but I find it bland.
I mean, yeah, to you it's probably
It's
bland.
coffee
but,
without sugar and cream.
like I like my
Black
coffee,
coffee.
black just like my metal.
By the MSI. Yes.
But I dig the hell out of it.
Just like my metal.
Yeah, man, I love some
You're
MSI,
welcome,
man.
I got you.
Right, this man right
I
here.
do
I'm a
love
big
it.
MSI fan. I'm
It's
loving
fucking
it.
amazing,
Frankenstein was a
Jimmy fucking
phenomenal-
Urine is a
Oh
fucking
my god,
amazing artist.
Tight is phenomenal. Love
The
that
fuck?
shit. Yeah, this man just, he's the Batman cat right here, man.
All right, move on.
But no, this album to me is really good. I really enjoy it. Really enjoy it a lot.
What do you rate it?
What did you rate it?
I rate it a 7, but that's
7.
because I can't go anywhere below a 7 with the Deftones because
Yeah,
I
I mean,
find them at least that good.
This is an 8. You know what I mean?
I guess.
It ain't amazing, but when I was listening to all their stuff, this one for some reason musically it hit me the
Yeah,
most.
between that one and their subtitle, they just like those are the most forgettable albums to me.
But
Gore is fucking.
Gore.
I loved it.
Gordon had another major impact on
The
me.
middle though for me.
It's the first one that I ever heard all the way through, and if you guys are, 4 years ago?
2016. So
2016. David and I, hell, it might have been the first time you reviewed an album with me on here.
Yeah, it might have been. It's been a while.
Yeah, and so...
We did that one and then we did a Slipknot song.
Yeah, we did a
And then we
Korn,
did Korn or something
Korn
like that.
album after this. But this album, I love the shit out of this one because it's another one, but this one really doubles down on a more stoner shoegaze vibe. There's nothing real heavy.
It goes
on
everywhere though.
here. Yeah, it goes everywhere, but it never gets headbangy. Like
Right, it's not a heavy. It's kind of
head
like
nodding.
it's a good it's a
Yeah.
good listen.
Yeah, it's head nodding.
And it's got every song
very-
you go into one song into the next and it doesn't sound like the last
It's
song.
it's a tobacco pipe smoking album. You know,
Right,
you're
it's a good Chianti.
yeah, you're
good
like
wine.
you're sitting in your study. You know, you're sitting
Right.
in your study. You're like puff puff.
Like I would have to say, Prayers and Triangles is a fucking amazing fucking song. Doomed User is the heaviest song on here, which is fucking phenomenal. One of my favorite songs on here. And then you kind of go through. You got Hearts and Wires, which is a good, catchy song. Like it has a lot of good moments where you're like, all right, cool, I can see that, I dig that, and then it kind of goes like El Merle. Like I don't even know L/Merle, Lamerle. Is probably the weirdest song on here to me. It has a lot of different timing issues. It goes kind of all over the place. And probably my least favorite song on there just because of that. I can't really wrap my mind around it sound-wise. Phantom Bride is another phenomenal song on here. And it ends with Rubicon, which is pretty much a good ending
Yeah.
for the album. It's like he says, shoegazy, doomy. It's not heavy. It's nothing to say, oh my god, I can't believe I just heard that kind of thing. But it's a good album to put in when you need something calming.
Yeah, and you just want to relax.
And you just want to, like, it has nothing that makes your anxiety go up. And you're like, this is a good album. It's well produced. It has really good songs on it. There's, like I said, there's a few on there that are kind of like, okay, whatever, I can move on from there. But those few songs that it does have really gets you to where I really want to go back to those songs. Like I said, Prayers and Triangles is a really, probably, I think that's a single from this album too. And then Hearts and Wires is also just another really good middle of the album kind of song that keeps you want to keep listening. I would definitely give this about an 8 when it comes to that, but I don't really have too much to say about it because it's one of those kind of albums where you love it, but again,
you gotta be in the right mind frame.
You have to be in the right mind frame. You have to be. It's like you can't just be like, yeah, I want to listen to thrash metal and then listen to this album because you're not gonna get that. You're kind of like, I need something to just chill to, and like I need to hang out with my friends and have this in the background playing, and you'll be like, it'll catch you. It'll be like you'll be talking to your friends and you'll be like, oh, I like that riff.
Here's this moment.
Yeah, so it's a good album though. Like I said, it's an 8. It's within the. I mean, obviously, out of all 9 of them, it's not their best. But I wouldn't say it's nowhere near their worst album. And none of them really, like I said, I've said it before, none of them have bad albums. There's nothing below a 7 on any of their albums. Just when it comes from their best.
Like personal preference, some might be weaker than others, but you could still appreciate it.
Right, and this is their middle ground kind of album. I mean, it's not the best album, but it's not their worst album at all.
Yeah.
And even their worst album is good. So
yeah. This one for me is, it's crazy because, like I said, it was the first one I ever heard all the way through when you and I did that review, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And after I started buying up all their stuff, and then I went back to this one because I bought this from Charlie, I was like, damn, you know what? At this moment in time, I am not getting into this one as much as I am some of these earlier albums. So I was like, I'm glad that it's weird that their latest album is the one that really got me to dive into their stuff. But, and I loved it then, but now not like I'm loving it less, but I'm liking some of the earlier stuff more.
some of the stuff's stronger.
Yeah, but you're right. This one is definitely a fucking, we're just gonna chill the fuck out kind of album. And we kind of said the same thing about White Pony with it's a chill album, but that album is
White
mostly
Pony is more memorable.
more memorable, chill, but there's also some heaviness. There's a little more variety, whereas this album is mostly chill. And which isn't a bad thing, because, man, who fucking cares, man? Deftones are going to do their fucking thing. It still sounds like Deftones.
Yeah, wait for the new one.
Yeah, I'm totally hyped for the new one. This one, I like all the tracks, but Prayers and Triangles and Acid Hologram, Doomed User, I like a lot of these. Xenon, fucking really good shit. Phantom Bride, really good album, but it's mostly stoner shoegaze. It's the best way to call it, stoner shoegaze. And I've said that word a million times tonight, shoegaze. But if you're
the word of the day,
yeah, it's the word of the day. But if you're familiar with the stuff in that genre, you get what I'm talking about. It's just very shoegazy. But I give this one an A easily. It's I hate that we sort of peaked with our love for this band and their albums so early. Because we haven't praised one since White Pony at this point. You know what I mean?
That's not true. I mean, I gave a little bit of love to a lot of them. I mean, to Diamond Eyes was pretty.
I don't know.
Well, I think it's there because mainly like they hit their peak at White Pony, and then kind of they flowed with that.
They kind of just flowed.
They kind of just flowed with it. And they haven't done anything like
As
I said, this one,
mentally
the newest one,
thought-provoking.
Gore, is probably the most they've changed
Yeah.
since their older ones, which is why I like it so much. And I'm really hoping they supposedly have a new album coming out this year, August, September around time frame, maybe July.
I'll
if
be
we're
all
lucky.
over it.
And I'll be on it. I mean, we'll be. I'm pretty sure Travis and me are gonna hit it up for real, and we'll beg Josh to actually give it a listen. And maybe Zach will listen to it in his honeymoon phase. We'll see what happens. But definitely, yeah, the earlier stuff is probably their best stuff because they hit that flow and they haven't tried anything new up until Gore. Gore, like I said, is their. It doesn't sound like any of the last 4 albums since White Pony. I think it's their most experimental since White Pony. So when it comes to their 9 albums, this is probably like my 4th or 5th favorite. Like I love Diamond Eyes, but their first 3 are my favorite 3. White Pony, then it would be Adrenaline, and then Around the Fur, and then Gore would be probably like I said, Diamond Eyes would be number 4, then Gore, and then the rest of them kind of just like hit and miss between the last 3 or last 4 or whatever.
I would agree that they would definitely. Those are my top 5 as well. Just replace White Pony with Around the Fur.
Yeah.
Adrenaline number 3. Diamond Eyes is 4 easily.
And then
This
Gore
one,
is number 5.
Gore's
in the middle, and then the rest of them kind of like I said, they're all really good albums. But they kind of just switch their places depending on how my mood feels.
Didn't I
except
say?
for
Didn't I say that one was my top 3? Maybe I didn't mean to say top 3,
Yeah.
but I mean it's because I do like Adrenaline more.
Yeah, I think whatever the fucking Japanese, that one's always gonna be the last. It's just it doesn't do it for me. There's like the Swerve City's pretty cool, but the rest of the album's kind of like whatever. It's not the worst. I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad. It's a 7. It's the weakest album to me. And then I think that their self-titled is the second weakest, so that would probably be. But between Saturday Night Wrist would be number 6, and then what's the other one? Like, what's that other one?
The Deftones.
Yeah, that. I mean, it's just kind of like, yeah, whatever. But like I said, I mean, I have my top few. Deftones are a fucking phenomenal band, and their next album will not be bad at all, no matter what they do, probably. Just because Chino's voice is phenomenal in everything he does, and I'm pretty sure that band's either going to be a 7 or higher. So, can't wait. I hope it's as good as White Pony. I can only pray that it's either better or just as good. But it may be less than that, but I mean, it can't be any worse than Yo Noi, whatever. That's my words.
Can't be any worse than the self-titled.
Yeah, that too.
But we've never done this before. Where can we find you on the internet, David?
You can find me on Reverb Nation. Chaos in Order 1 is my handle for that, or you can find me as a gamer on Chaos in Fallout for if you like Fallout stuff. That's what I do there. I do voices and all the other things. It's a lot of fun, joking stuff. You can add me. Hopefully in the next while I'll have some music stuff up for you.
Yeah, David is a musician as well, and yeah, so you hear his music on his Reverb Nation, and he does this man makes some creative ass Fallout settlement builds, and highly recommend checking out his channel at Chaos and Fallout. Really fun stuff over there, and you guys can all find us as always on this YouTube. You can find us on SoundCloud, our music as Bloody Chuckles Studios. And I just recently found out, because you guys know this podcast is on horrorphilia.com with a lot of different great horror movie podcasts. But we are also, because our great host, Jason Lloyd, apparently puts us on Spotify and Stitcher. So you can also find Speaker Brains on Spotify and Stitcher. But if you want to see, our random stuff like our music videos and our random reviews, you'll find those exclusively to the YouTube channel. But I am wasted, man, and I had a lot of fun talking about Deftones.
You do Cold Chamber next.
We do gotta fuck with. We call it New Metal November. Who came up with that? Somebody dropped that.
I can do a New Metal November. That would be awesome.
Metal
There are
November.
so many fucking bands I would love to.
Just like
Spine Shank, Edema, bands that are unknown to most people. I mean, that would be a good fucking thing. I love fucking Spine Shank, and I'm a big fan of Edema. And I'm a big...
That gives me enough time to at least buy all the Cold Chamber.
A Cold Chamber, a fucking Mushroom Head. The bands that should be bigger than they are. That would be a fucking good time to talk about those bands. I mean, Mushroom Head you need a whole fucking video for because they have a shitload of fucking albums. And they have 2 different fucking singers now. And I mean, they've always had 2 singers, but they have now different singers. It's just nuts. Mushroom Head's one of the underrated metal bands that were Slipknot came out at the same time, and it was well, who's cooler looking? And Slipknot just kind of beat them out. But
Yeah.
Mushroom Head would be definitely a good. Me and Josh could probably talk about Mushroom Head all night.
Definitely.
Especially the first few albums. I haven't heard too much of their latest albums, but the first 3 albums, Triple X and all those albums, those are some good ones. I would love a New Metal November would be a fucking phenomenal fucking time for me.
Yeah.
I'm all
So
for it.
we'll see you guys on the next video coming up. There's a couple that I want to do for March Metal Madness, and then some new albums are coming out pretty soon. A new Lady Gaga and a new Nightwish on the same day. Totally hyped for both. And then we have in May we have a new Elstorm. I want to do an Elstorm retrospective, which that'll just be 5 albums, but 5 really fun fucking albums. And then also at the end of May we have this Static X coming out with the final Wayne Static recordings. Oh man, I gotta jump on it. We'll see you guys on the next video, in the next podcast. Have a good night.